What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another Free Agent Frenzy 2016 kind of wrap up over the last couple of days. Big news broke yesterday evening. Dwayne Wade has left the Miami Heat and the warm beaches of South Beach for the cold winters of Chicago to sign with the Chicago Bulls. We want to touch on that first. So, Gonzo, I'm going to roll right to you and want to hear your thoughts on Wade to Chicago.
Uh, I think it's about 5, 6 years too late. I mean, honestly. But I think that it's a good pickup. I mean, if they're just trying to sell tickets, my recommendation would be to tank and just get draft picks. Hopefully, you can make some trades with those draft picks. But I don't know. It's almost like the Bulls are stuck in between. Like they're stuck in a place between like playoffs and staying home. They're nowhere near. They're not going to be a championship contender. Although I do think with the team that they have,
Yes.
if they can play right, they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the only hump that they really have, if you really look at the Eastern Conference, is probably the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
The Indiana Pacers have gotten a lot of great acquisitions, but the part that scares me the most is this, right? Okay, Hoiberg is running this pace and space offense, right? But you have Jimmy, you have D Wade, you have Rondo. You know, these are the guy on your wing, your backcourt players, right? So my question is where's this 3-point shooting? Where's this 3-point shooting going to come from?
Miritich, that's about it.
I mean, but if you look at
He's not he's not consistent
he's
though.
not even consistent.
Yeah.
And is he shooting 30? Is he shooting 35% from threes? Like I wouldn't trust.
Close. Not like that.
You know, I
Yeah.
wouldn't really trust him as like as a guy who I can trust. I wouldn't trust him shooting a ton of threes. Only person I can really name is maybe McDermott.
Yeah.
He might be a better shooter, but and then I didn't understand this here. Why would you trade Mike Dunleavy to Cleveland and help them out?
Miritich shot 39%.
Hey,
Oh, three?
Pete?
Yeah.
What did the Bulls get? Was that just a salary dump, or did they actually get something from Cleveland?
Salary dump. Basically the rights
Okay, that's
to
what
a draft and stash, basically.
okay, yeah. I didn't think they got anything really.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the offense,
Yeah.
the whole thing I don't understand is that they got three guys who kind of live driving to the basket, so they make most of their living in the lane. You know, I mean, even if they get in foul trouble, I mean, D Wade, Butler is, but Rondo shoots free throws like maybe worse than DeAndre Jordan. Like it's just a bad mixture of talent on this team. That just kind of makes me nervous. But like I said, I would have preferred to tank.
So, dude,
Just tank.
I
I'm
am
gonna roll
with
through everybody's
Gonzo
opinions first, then I'm gonna ask this question.
Oh,
I'll ask this question last.
okay.
Hey Marcus,
Hey.
I wanna hear from you, man. You scout all kind of players on a regular basis. So, what do you think of the fit of D Wade in that offense? Are you with Gonzo that it's a couple years too late?
You talking about me?
Marcus, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening, but couldn't hear you. No, I don't think it's a couple of years too late. I think it's a good homegoing situation. Let's be honest here. Dwayne Wade doesn't have much time left on his clock, and what better way to end your career than to go to back home to Chicago, giving them the last few years of your career. And that's all this is, to be honest with you. He just wants to collect some money off this new CBA. He wants to, end his career at home, and you kind of can't blame him. Miami, they couldn't pay him, and Pat Riley is notorious for letting guys go, no matter what kind of loyalty. For lack of a better word, because I don't believe loyalty exists in the NBA anymore. But Pat Riley is notorious for letting guys go. No matter what they've done for him. There wasn't gonna be a Kobe situation there. I believe in paying guys for what they've done in the past. He brought you 3 championships. He's the best Miami Heat, arguably the third best shooting guard of all time. I think who cares that he's leaving the warm beaches of South Florida? He's been in the Illinois area for 21 years of his life. I mean, he only spent the last 13 in in South Beach. So.
Right.
So he's going to be fine back home. He knows what to expect. He has a home there. All of his family and friends are there. I mean, he's going to be fine. The only thing he has to worry about is trying to get Gabrielle to go up there, which I don't think he's going to go.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work out, she can always come to Houston. I'm here.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
But this Dwayne Wade pickup, I think, was really good for them. Oh yeah, and one more thing, if you think about Fred Hoiberg and how he coached in college, let's talk about Georges Niang, a big man that can come out, pop out, and shoot. He had a lot of those type of guys who can spread the floor, who can pop out, shoot the three ball, big men. So Mirotic, he's perfect for Hoiberg's system, to be honest. So.
And I think he starts over Taj.
Oh yeah, he'll start over Taj. I think so. I think so.
And this is his perfect come out time. All in.
Yeah. Mhm. I actually am. Marcus made all good points. I actually, those were all really good. I'm actually with Gonzo. I would have tanked. I see why Dwayne Wade did it. The dude deserves to be paid. He's got his 3 rings. He doesn't care about. I don't think he cares about winning a championship. Obviously, he's not going to go to a bottom feeder. He'll go to a medium, mid of the road team like Denver maybe. He could have went there. He goes to Chicago. He got his money. Good for him. He's going to put butts in the seats. And I'm with God. That team, I think they get second round, and I didn't even have them as a playoff team before they signed him. But I think second round, which is good. But it's like I use this analogy with the pieces that they have. Rondo, it's like taking a square peg and trying to fit it in a round hole. And I could be wrong. They could shock everybody and do what Gonzo said and get to the conference finals. It's possible. Obviously, they all have to stay healthy. And I think really, the starters are going to be, they'll be all right. The key is going to be that bench. You've got, how is Grant going to do this year? Doug made big strides last year. And I think Doug's going to be great again this year. He's really he's the only real consistent shooter they have. And then it'll be interesting to see how Bobby does, But I'm interested in, and I've said it many times, if things are going bad, what's going to happen? Because I said it before, you got Jimmy, him and Fred do not get along. I don't think Jimmy hates Fred Hoiberg, but they don't click. And I always said, management, we know Garpax, they love. Hoiberg is their guy. But then you got your franchise guy in Jimmy. You have to choose one. And if it does go bad, there's injuries, Wade can't stay healthy, what happens? Do you trade Jimmy now? Or do you get rid of Hoiberg? They're going to have to commit. And I hope it doesn't happen, but it just seems like you're going to get the friction come trade deadline, and are they going to trade Jimmy or are they going to get rid of Hoiberg? And what do you do? And Garpax is in a tough situation because their job, I think Gonzo will agree, their jobs are on the line this year.
Hoiberg is more of a bull than Butler.
Absolutely. That's the thing, and that's John Paxson's guy. That's his boy.
He played for the Bulls when he was a player.
And I'm convinced. I'm almost convinced with these moves they're making. If it blows up in their face, it makes me wonder. And Gonzo can probably back me up on this because he lives in Chicago. I'm just in Central Illinois. But do they want this team to lose on purpose? Is that what they're going for? So that they can just Hoiberg can break it up.
My thing is with Krause, you had some good years where you were championship contenders and you had some good runs, but at a certain point you got to realize that hey, the way we're going, we're getting older, we're not getting better. The league is changing. They're going to small ball. We still have these big mountainous centers and big men, so they got to make some changes, and I think that's what they're doing. They're transitioning. They don't want to tank, but they want to be bad enough to get a lottery pick.
I guess the silver lining in all this, though, and if I'm wrong, I know Pete's going to have the numbers on this one. Mm-hmm. We know Rondo's is basically a mutual opt-out after year one, team and player. Either one of them can decide to opt out. Is Wade's an opt-out after year one?
Yes.
Okay, see, so I guess it's a one-year experiment. If it works, hey. And the cap goes up next year, and maybe Chicago thinks, well, if we get to the second round, we get to the conference final, we bring in, we got some free agents next year that are, Westbrook, all these guys. I don't think Westbrook comes to Chicago, but maybe we can get some guys. So that may be the thinking.
I think
We'll
ADHD.
see.
I think there's a good chance ADHD will be in New York.
New York.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance ADHD will be in New York. You can actually quote me on that.
Okay. Stowe, what do you think of Chicago's move?
I mean, I think it's a good move. I think there's potential there. I think that I think we're kind of understating that Rajon Rondo is a top-tier point guard, and he can make the Bulls a good team. It's just really a matter of who's going to be injured, how many games these guys are actually going to play together. I don't think they can beat Cleveland. I don't think they can beat Indiana, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to beat teams like Atlanta and stuff like, and Boston too with their new pickup. But it really is just a matter of how well they gel together, and we haven't seen that yet. So let's see what happens.
Let me ask this question. So I think everybody is basically Marcus. Let me ask you, because I know what Gonzo and Matt said. Do you think the Bulls make the playoffs?
Oh man. Oof.
Just as constructed right now, because obviously we're still early in the off season. A lot of things could change, but just where they are right now.
Just where they are right now. I think they are
injury-free. Let me add that.
Injury-free. I think they can be an 8 or 7 seed.
Okay, Stowe, what do you think?
But I don't see them higher than an 8 or 7 seed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I think. I don't know. I honestly think that they're probably a shoo-in for the playoffs, but I don't think they're gonna be that bad because the East isn't that strong. But I don't see them being higher than a 6 seed.
I'd say the East is gonna be a feeding frenzy this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to say the least, because I in my opinion, I think the Hawks got worse. Charlotte got worse. Getting Bellinelli, I would have tried to keep Courtney Lee and.
But I think you have a bunch of teams with about 35 to 45 wins. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's exactly that's exactly
It's
what
going to be kind of like last year. I mean, what didn't 3, 4, 5, and 6 damn near had all 48 wins?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me jump in here with these predictions. We all know Gonzo and I both think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't want to give a particular seed because I think the Bulls could get as high as 4 or 5 and as low as 7. So I'd say between 4 and 7, I think, or 5 and 7. I mean.
Okay. Lance, I know you're just kind of rolling. Yeah, you're just kind of rolling in. We're talking about D-Wade to Chicago. You got any thoughts on that? And then the second part of it, we were talking about if Chicago is actually going to make the playoffs or not. Oh, he might be having some audio trouble. Lance, we'll roll back to you. So basically with Chicago's move, they send Mike Dunleavy to the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was rumored that they've been trying to obtain Mike Dunleavy, or LeBron has been trying to obtain Mike Dunleavy for a few years. I want to go to Stowe first because he is the Cavs fan on the panel. So, Stowe, what do you think of the move for Dunleavy?
I mean, it's a solid move with JR's contract kind of being up in the air right now, and we've already lost Delly and stuff like that. It's nice to just have just another shooter on the floor, I think. I mean, we can talk leadership and stuff like that, but I honestly do feel like it's a good shooter, a consistent shooter on the floor, and we've seen in the playoffs that the Cavs are becoming a better shooting team than I think most expected, and I think this just adds to that.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else want to go?
You guys
just jump in.
I was gonna say, Stowe's right about that, but and Gonzo will be because we see all the Bulls games. Dunleavy's going to provide a lot defensively for them too. Maybe not as much on the ball defense, but he's a great team defender, as most Duke guys are.
Right.
He's going to get the defensive concepts and what they want to do. You're going to lose really nothing defensively with him, even at his old age. He's always going to be in the right spot. You
Right.
know, his rotations will always be there. He's going to make open shots, as everybody knows. I think he's going to give them more than Jefferson did. Jefferson can give them some athletic plays
easily.
here and there. Yeah,
Definitely.
Dunleavy is a better. Yeah, that was a big upgrade over Jefferson, who I think they are bringing back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he signed a.
Yeah,
So
he
if
can do that.
Dunleavy didn't hurt, you can still throw Jefferson in there. We know he can make some plays. But I actually think the Cavs, that was a huge move for them. That was big. They really that was a big move getting Dunleavy, and they got him for nothing.
Yeah. Anybody else got any thoughts on Dunleavy? All right. Well, we'll roll through and talk about the other move Chicago made to get Dwayne Wade. Jose Calderon going to the Lakers. Not really much to say there, but does anybody want to talk about it? You know, just throw it out there for the sake of conversation.
I don't know what the Lakers are doing, yo. Like, they just scooped up Luol Deng and got Mozgov for a bunch of money. I understand that they're trying to rate, because we were talking about on Dead End Sports how they're trying to, raise the young players that they have, but it's just like, I understand having players like Luol Deng, because Luol Deng is a great vet. He's consistent on offense and defense. And he can really help these rookies mature, or these young players mature. But I don't understand what they're doing right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with Stowe on that, and I mentioned it too when we did the Dead End Sports the other day. That I get, everybody knows Dang's going to be good in the locker room. He's going to help the young guys learn how to win. But is it at the expense of Julius Randle and Brandon Ingram? And based on what I saw, I don't know if it was last night or today, Ingram is probably coming off the bench. Dang is probably going to be the starting small forward. So Ingram comes off the bench. So, I don't know why you would do that. If you're the Lakers, man, let these young guys play. We saw it last year.
Let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this, man.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Eddie Jones over Kobe Bryant.
That's a different thing, though. I think.
Because
I think Brandon. I always say that, and I'm a big Kobe guy. That's my dude.
Exactly. I
think Ingram. I say this though. I think Ingram is more ready to play now than Brandon Ingram. And at that time, LA was a playoff contender. They just got Shaq. You got Van Exel. This is a losing team. I think it's a little different.
They were not a playoff contender.
In Kobe's rookie year, what they win that year? 57 games, I think. They signed Shaq.
But the year prior, they drafted Kobe. Then they acquired Shaq later on in free agency. Right. So they were not a playoff, not a contender when they drafted Kobe. Right?
Not when they drafted him. Exactly. See, I would have had they not have got Shaq. I would have, even if they didn't get Shaq that year, I still think Eddie Jones. They were a playoff team. I know they got knocked out. Who was it who beat them the year before? Was it Seattle? No, it wasn't Seattle. It was because 95, 96. That was the year they had Magic when Magic came
Phoenix?
back. They lost in the first round. Yeah, they lost the first round because Magic came back that year. Yeah, and LA had the pick. They didn't have a pick. Charlotte drafts Kobe. LA trades Vlade for him, as we all know.
Right.
But they were still a playoff team at the time. I would have expected Kobe to come off the bench coming from high school. He wasn't picked as the savior, and I was a big fan of Kobe then. I won't lie. I didn't think he was going to end up being, in my opinion, one of the top 3 or 4 greatest players of all time. That's another argument, but. Mm-hmm. I understood Eddie Jones coming off the bench for Eddie Jones, but Luol Deng is an older player, and you're a losing team. They have no chance at the playoffs, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but I just that signing makes no sense. I think you got to go with Ingram.
And in Ingram's press conference, he was asked basically, "What do you think of starting or not starting?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
He said, "I want to start. My competitive nature, I want to start." And there was no, I'll do whatever the team wants, anything
See, That's what I'm saying with these young players. Like if you're gonna put these other players, you're gonna put Mozgov, you're gonna put Dang, and now Calderon, like with these young players. Like I'm interested to see how these guys react and act, knowing that they're on a losing team. And as you said, you've already seen if they're not playing and they're losing. Like, what are these rookies getting? What are these young players getting in experience? And what are they learning except that they're on a losing team and they're not able to practice and get their talent on the court?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the Luol Deng move was a panic reaction to overpaying for Mozgov. Once they saw the reaction on social media that why would you overpay, for Mozgov, they had to come out and get something. At that point, a lot of the names were already gone, and it just doesn't make sense to me. You got Randall there. You can also, basically play Randall at the 5. So I could see where Deng could fit in, but you don't draft, Ingram to sit him. I'm sorry, not for Luol Deng. I mean, he improved because he did play the stretch 4 last year.
You know what I think the main problem we have in the NBA right now is that nobody truly develops when they come in as a big time, prospect.
Very good point.
So I think honestly, I think the Lakers. I think Luke Walton, from a player standpoint and a coaching standpoint, I think he knows what's going on. I think he knows how to develop this guy the right way. Luke Walton's a good friend of Kobe Bryant. I'm pretty sure they talk on a daily basis. And I'm pretty sure Kobe's saying bring him off the bench, let him develop. For one, Ingram is going to learn a lot from Luol Deng, who's a stand-up guy of good character. For two, Ingram's going to have another chip on his shoulder. Like, why the hell are you not starting me, dude? He's going to want to try and prove that point. You see, so I don't know. I think it's a good thing him coming off the bench his first year.
It's one thing that's taught me about the Lakers side is that as great as Kobe is, he has decimated this franchise. Gave him that big contract. Oh my God, he just killed the Lakers. His arrogance and his personality has hindered free agents from signing. Like, he really messed the Lakers up, man. Like, we look at, all the points he scored and, the rings and all those things. He's a great player because he's in my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just, Kobe Bryant he's messed up the Lakers, man. He messed up the Lakers really, really bad.
How do you mess up the Lakers by giving them 5 championship rings in 20 years?
I think what I know it could be all false, but I think they, reports have come out that certain guys did not want to sign with the Lakers because they didn't want to play second fiddle to Kobe. I think that's nuts, but that's probably my bias because I'm a Kobe fan. I see you laughing, Lance.
I mean, why would you want to play second fiddle to a dude that can't perform like he used to? And he barely started being a nice guy this year. He's usually an asshole. He wants to play with an asshole, to be real.
Hey, let me tell you something. Here's a news flash. All of them are assholes.
Yeah, exactly. Michael Jordan is the biggest asshole in the history of the league.
Exactly.
And people love him for it, and people love him.
I don't know. I mean, not the players. I know some of the players probably didn't love him.
Hey, man, I can attest to that.
Yeah, but it's different when you're an asshole in your prime. Kobe's an asshole, and he's like a shell of himself. Why the hell would I want to play with you? You're an asshole, and you can't really play like you used to.
Because I think we forget too often what Kobe Bryant was, and still at an old age. How many 38-year-old guys can average 17 points a game in the NBA?
I mean, you throw up that many shots, you can average it. I mean,
I know I can average it, but
I will say this: there's only one. There's only one guy. There's only one guy, and Marcus knows who I'm going with. I think we all know. Did it at 40. Michael Jordan, 20 a game.
True.
That ain't never happening again. And I think Marcus will agree, and I've said this many times. Michael Jordan's legacy was not tarnished with the Wizards. That dude did at 39 and 40 years old what no player in the history of the game has ever done. His image is not tarnished because of that.
And come on, man.
Not at all.
We all know Kobe Bryant still had a body like a young man. He could probably come in and play better than, I would say, 50% of the shooting guards in the NBA right now.
I mean, yeah, he's still in shape. The only thing his body's worn down as far as
it's the Achilles and the only reason I think his shooting numbers were down is when he had was it his shoulder or his elbow?
It was the shoulder.
Ago. Yeah, shoulder, and we all know his right shoulder. That's your shooting. So I think that's why his shots did not fall as consistently as they usually would. Because that year he got hurt the last, what was it, like 4 games left in the season when he tore the Achilles, he was shooting like 46, 47% from the field. And we all know the crazy shots that he takes. Marcus will agree. He is the best tough shot maker we have ever seen in the NBA.
Really? I thought it was
and
Curry.
that's why I think his first. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No.
Curry doesn't have enough of sample size, in my opinion. Curry has 2 years worth of sample size.
No, I know.
I give
I'm
Curry
speaking in the
4. I'm going to give Curry 4.
3 or 4.
I'm going to give Curry 4 years.
But the magnitude that he's doing it on, like it's the stages he's doing it on now. I mean, because 3 or 4 years ago it wasn't the
that's
same
what I don't
stage.
like. Look, I'm a Steph Curry fan, but come on, we have guys like Kobe and Michael and Isaiah who've been doing this stuff for the length of their careers. This guy has a good 2-year sample size of being a dominant guy making these difficult shots. I think he needs a little bit more before we start considering that a conversation.
I'm just saying he's doing it at the 3-point range. A lot of those other dudes weren't doing it at the 3-point range.
No, they were dunking on 7-footers.
Yeah, I mean they're just different players.
I want to say this though, Marcus. I'm with you on the crazy threes that he's hitting. We know his career 3-point centers is what he's second all time. He's close 45%, right behind I think it's Kerr. His numbers, and I'm just going based on his numbers. You go back, the second year Mark Jackson is there, the 12-13 season. Curry's numbers that year are better than the year that he won the MVP. Mm-hmm. They just didn't have as good of a team. And it was the year they almost took the Spurs out in the second round. That's why I say, and I said it on the Dead End Sports podcast the other day, he's been doing this for 4 years now, consistently. And his first 2 years, he played with the biggest black hole in the league, Monte Ellis. So
yep.
Exactly. And he averaged 18, 5, and 5 with Monte Ellis. Imagine if he doesn't have. In his third year, he got hurt. So just like Michael's second year, you can't count the third year of Curry, second year of Michael. But Curry has been doing this consistently to me his whole career. I don't know anybody who can play with Monte Ellis, a young Monte. Now he's older, so.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, don't do that to him. He's still. I don't know.
I know you're Girl Mavericks. I know you're Mavericks fan. He had his best season when he was on your Mavericks.
But
he had to become older and matured.
If Monte would have played like that when he was with Golden State, Monte is talented.
Right.
I don't think.
But Monte came from the era of the ISO ball,
the high volume shooter era. Yeah,
right.
He did.
Yes, absolutely.
We're still talking about the Lakers, right?
Yeah, I mean we.
Hey, real quick, Lance. Though, where we were going to you earlier. Sorry, Pete.
No, you're good.
Thoughts on Wade? I wanted to get. Let's get Lance's thoughts on Dwayne Wade.
Why would you leave Pat Riley?
No, Pat Riley didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, of course. Why would you? Why would I want to pay? He doesn't play full seasons.
Doesn't matter. You paid Dwayne Wade.
Don't play full seasons, man.
Let me ask you this: if you're Jerry Krause in this 1996-97, do you give Michael Jordan $30 million and go into the luxury tax?
That's different.
That's not different.
I'm not comparing Dwayne Wade to Michael Jordan.
No.
I think it's different.
You give him that money.
I don't think it's different. And I'll say this. And Lance, you'll agree with me.
Bro, Michael Jordan probably played a lot more games at 30, 37, 36 than Wade does at 31.
Wait, though. Dwayne Wade, arguably, without a doubt, the greatest player in Heat history. Got them 3 championship rings. And he didn't get that on the back of Shaq. Shaq got his 4th ring on the coattails of Dwayne Wade, right? He's done all these things. And what has he done every year? Taking a pay cut to bring these other guys in. Pay him his money. I think you pay him because of what he's done for your franchise.
At a certain point, you have to pay this money. At a certain point,
you have to. I think you absolutely do.
They could have worked
remember this, Lance.
They could have worked it out.
Mark Cuban doesn't have this problem. Mark Cuban doesn't have this problem. I bet whatever Dirk Nowitzki wants, he'll get. Trust me.
Yeah, well, Dirk took $8 million annually.
Yeah, but Wade has been doing this his whole career.
Wade will never do that. Wade is a diva, bro. Hold on.
The first year they brought Bosh and Queen James in. He was supposed to be making $21 million that year, and he took 14. He's supposed to be making $21 million that year, and he took 14.
Lance, you gotta pay Wade. I think you have to.
You don't
look for the next.
So is your job going to pay you for what you did 3 years ago? I don't think so.
Years, he took a $7 million pay cut every year to keep those guys there.
He did. I mean, he got your franchise.
They could have worked it out differently. I'm saying, though, they could have did like a 1-year deal and then a player option, and then they could have went from there.
That 1-year deal is still going to reflect.
I was going to say, I think where Pat Riley screwed up, and I think everybody on this panel will agree, where he screwed up, obviously you're going to wait. You got a chance at KD.
Yeah.
You got a chance at KD. You got to hold out. Where he fucked up was saying, we're going to hold out on Wade for Hassan Whiteside. And
yeah,
Marcus,
that's a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. You graduated the same year.
You probably should have took care of Wade before you took care of Whiteside.
Hey, real quick, Marcus, do you know who Karen Bradley is? Went to Cy Springs, played with Wade at Marquette. I don't know. He was class of 02, Cy Springs High School. Played with Wade at Marquette. He was working out. Karen was at Lifetime Fitness in Sugarland. Whiteside was working out with Frank Rutherford, Olympic bronze medal winner from the Bahamas, and Hakeem Olajuwon. Mm-hmm. And Karen went over there just to say what's up to those guys, and Hassan Whiteside was the biggest asshole. Acted like, and this was Whiteside getting prepared for the NBA draft. I think he only played 1 year of college. This dude didn't do shit.
Yeah, he went
projected top 30. He was and Pete knows, being the numbers guy, the big draft guy. Hassan Whiteside was a projected top 10 pick that year.
Correct.
2010 draft. Such an asshole, very arrogant. I've never been a fan of Whiteside. I think he's a dick.
He's a head case, man.
He is. He's always going to be. He's very arrogant.
He missed 41 team engagements this past year.
Lance, this is why you pay Wade. Hassan Whiteside is not going to give you shit. Yeah.
He's more of a proven player. Whiteside is a flash. Could be a flash in the pan.
So
he is a flash in the pan.
Although I do want the Mavs again.
Where he really. That's where Pat Riley screwed up, was putting Wade on the back burner for fucking Hassan Whiteside. Excuse my French.
Whiteside had difficulty this year even making team appearances. He missed 41, according to reports from multiple sources, he missed 41 team engagements, and basically it pissed Pat Riley off. But Pat Riley was in the position, there wasn't a lot of big men out there that he was going to get, plus the risk of losing Chris Bosh for the season.
That's what I'm about to say.
So he basically had no choice.
And Lance, I think Lance will agree with me on this. Dallas had Whiteside. If the only reason they signed Whiteside so quickly in Miami, if they didn't, he was going to Dallas.
Correct.
Yeah, because he made it clear that he wasn't going to wait around.
Dallas.
Right.
He made it clear he was not going to wait around. He said that.
You know what? Hey, and I'm going to say this, Lance. That was the best thing Mark Cuban did, was not getting him. Getting Andrew Bogut is a much better move.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
And I love
him too, though.
Yeah.
And I love the Andrew Bogut. They're overpaying for Harrison Barnes, but I think he's going to be good.
In this market,
I love the Seth Curry signing.
I do too. People are like, he's not his brother. I'm like,
what's so good about the Seth Curry signing? 2 years, $6 million, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I like it. He's getting money for cheap.
He's going to get some playing time.
Yeah, okay, he can get playing time all he wants, but what is he going to do with the playing time?
I mean, he's still a good shooter.
He'll spread the floor. He'll spread the floor for him. He'll get some.
I mean, he was with the Kings last year. I don't really think you're in an organization like that.
I'll say this: he'll look good in that blue and white jersey. He's a handsome kid.
Yeah, but he'll play a better role than Raymond Felton would give him.
I don't know, man. Felton looked pretty good.
I don't know.
Those are two different types of game you got here. You got a facilitator in Raymond Felton who can score at will. Let's be honest. But you have a marginal borderline. I don't know if I can really score. Can't in the NBA. Seth Curry. I was at Summer League last year, and this guy. I mean, he was doing good, and he started to struggle there toward the end. I'm not sold on Seth Curry. I'm sorry.
I will say this: I think the Mavs have more players that can open up team-wise for Seth Curry than the Kings would. So that's why I'm excited, because I know our team will actually get people open and get people looks. Because
hold on. Are you in Dallas?
Yeah, I'm Dallas. I'm a Mavericks fan, native and everything.
He does live in Dallas. Hey, But, hey,
There's not that many Mavs fans, man. So when you are a Mavs fan, usually you're
that's
from
for
Dallas.
good reason. You know, the one thing, there's two things I respect in that organization: your owner and your patriarch. Those are the two things I respect in that organization.
Well, yeah, our owner's starting to piss me off, and for the past 5 years, I've been on his hype train, but.
Well, I like the owner. I like the owner because he's a player's owner. He's a player's owner. He's not afraid to pay.
Rick Carlisle's a good coach too, though.
Oh yeah,
No,
I like Rick Carlisle
that's like
as well.
a top 3 coach in the league. You can say 2 if you want, but
No, I do like Carlisle. He's a really good coach. Yeah, Jim Carrey.
he makes people that are like Raymond Felton. They're not going to do that anywhere else. I promise you that. Or Pachulia, he had his best statistical year with the Mavs.
Raymond Felton.
Raymond Felton looked good.
He was good. He was good. He did a good. Hey, I will say this. He did a very Raymond Felton. I didn't watch a lot of Mavs games.
The game they beat the Thunder,
That's what I'm saying.
although he missed those 2 free throws, he had a really good game.
In the playoffs, he did a good job against Oklahoma. He did as good as he could do, and he did a good job against Oklahoma City in the playoffs. You know, I mean, who's going to come in and guard Russell Westbrook? Nobody can guard that dude in the league.
Trust me, because I was one of the biggest people that were making fun of the signing of him, because you know how he was overweight in Portland and all this mess that he's been having in the gun thing in New York. So I was really pessimistic
before
about
he went
it.
to
Too many donuts in New York too.
Yeah, before he went to Dallas, his only really good year was in New York before they got Carmelo.
That 1 year.
Yeah, really kind of a half a year.
Right. But I do like the Bogut move. Didn't he get hurt in the finals, right?
Yeah, but he'll be.
I think
healthy.
he'll be okay.
He'll be good.
Yeah, he's.
I like it though. He's a good passer. He's a good rim protector. So I like it. And
hey, Pete, I got to ask Marcus this since he knows the overseas guys. I don't know. Have you seen? And you'll like this, Pete. Marcus, have you seen a dude the Sixers drafted, Timothé Luwawu? Have you seen him?
Actually, I have not.
You have.
Surprisingly, I have not.
that's the long dude, right? He's like very long.
Yeah, the Sixers. Hey, if you turn on NBA TV, the Sixers are playing the Jazz right now. Ben Simmons. Yeah. But, hey. Yeah.
So
he's a French guy.
Yeah, he's a French dude. He's he's a very athletic built looking dude. He has like very long arms and everything.
Yeah. He's gonna be.
You know what? I'm surprised. I didn't see any videos of him, so I didn't know anything about him. But the first time I saw him play was the game they played Summer League. Was that Monday?
Yeah.
When they played Boston.
Well, that's what I told you. He was one of my sleepers.
He can really shoot the basketball, and he shoots a good ball.
Yeah.
His form is really nice.
He just got to get consistent with it because he played.
And you know what? He's really athletic.
Yeah. He played limited minutes.
He's really
so
athletic.
His game experience has got to get better, but I think he'll be okay. He's very intriguing. He's kind of like Simmons, where he can guard, or play multiple positions on offense, and actually probably be able to guard multiple positions on defense.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I am saddened to say,
go ahead.
Real quick, that the Sixers, the report just came out that Dario Saric may not be coming over now.
They're saying that.
Wow.
Well, they're saying that he has an incentive, like he'll get paid a lot more if he doesn't come over this year, right? That's what they're saying?
Yeah, that's basically a week ago he said, oh, yeah, I'm wanting to play for Philadelphia. I'm coming over. And now tonight it's basically he's wavering because he will not, if he waits till next season, he won't be under the rookie scale contract. He'll be able to sign for whatever he wants, kind of like Mirotic did with Chicago. And then he may ask for a trade because he wants to come over and start, is what the report is. I don't know how accurate it is, but he's
got some balls.
So,
this dude got some balls.
You know what though? That may actually be a blessing in disguise for Philadelphia. When you really think about it, if you look at their roster,
yeah,
that may not hurt them as much as you might think.
I mean, it'd have another asset to put in a trade, so it would help there.
But they have a lot. They're loaded in the front court. Simmons, Noel, Okafor, Embiid, Luwawu. You got all these guys. You know, even what's his name, the shooter? Damn it, Covington.
Yeah.
You got all these guys that are really now. You take Saric out of that, so you know it's not as loaded. So that may be a blessing. And like you said, you can put him in a trade.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
At this point, him and Noel could, that package together, and even throw in Stauskas, that can get you some good pieces coming back.
Is Stauskas worth anything at this point?
I mean, I vote to keep him, but, from what reports I've read, they're looking at kind of dangling him. But I think you do need another shooter off the bench. So, I mean, Gerald Henderson's going to start. So, we'll see what happens with it. Basically, like I predicted, my Sixers are going to be much improved. I'm very happy with Ben Simmons, but I want to talk about an actual Eastern Conference playoff team. No offense to my Sixers, I just don't think they're quite there yet.
Don't say the Bulls.
No, we talked Bulls already. I want to talk Detroit Pistons. Get the
real quick, Pete, though, real quick.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because Lance wasn't able to ask this. Lance, prediction for the Bulls. Are they a playoff team?
No, they're a playoff team. But there's not going to be top.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be a contender or anything.
I had, like, most people had them, 7, 8. I got them between 5 and 7.
East is getting better, bro.
I think injuries.
I have 7.
Yeah, because Wade might not play a full season. Wade might not play full season.
I base my decision on. I always predicted on health, on everybody being healthy. That's how we all make our predictions like that.
Right.
LeBron James could get hurt in the first game.
Yeah, but we are used to Wade being unhealthy. That's the thing. It's a given.
That's true. That's fair.
You got to look at it.
Big Stowe mentioned that as well.
Look at it as Miami's not going to be in the playoffs, so that's one spot. That's probably going to be the Knicks.
Then you think that he drop off that low?
Oh yeah. I mean, who do they have besides Josh Richardson and Hassan Whiteside?
Well, hopefully Justice.
Justice Winslow.
Hopefully Justice does.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have.
Nobody cares. The thing is, nobody cares about Dragic.
Right.
But you didn't really have a great shooting year last year, right?
Right.
No, they don't have any.
And then Charlotte's suspect because Charlotte loses Jeremy Lin. They lose Courtney Lee.
And Al Jefferson.
They rely on Jeremy Lamb and
Jefferson.
And then they lose Jefferson.
Yeah.
So they got to rely on Spencer Hawes, Jeremy Lin.
Where did Jeremy Lamb go?
Lin went to Brooklyn, but Jeremy Lamb's still there.
Lin went to Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Jeremy Lamb. I was like.
No. Jeremy Lamb and
Jeremy Lin
are your two guards. So. That's not winning you any games.
Oh, and they lost Courtney Lee.
Right. That's So they're probably teetering on the playoffs, if not out. So then you got to look at Washington. They've improved. Then you look at Chicago could be in a fight with Atlanta because Atlanta, I'm sorry, they did not improve.
I mean, they got Dwight Howard. At least they got some type of defense.
Yeah, but to me, they lost Teague, and I don't think Schroeder is a full-time starter.
You don't like Schroeder? I guess.
I don't dislike him. I just don't think he's quite ready like people were thinking.
We're gonna find out, man. Because I wanted the Mavs to get him. I really wanted him.
They got an option year with Millsap, so basically
they might trade him.
They're gonna have to get pieces. We're looking at trading them to Denver for some draft picks and Kenneth Faried. So that can kind of tell you where their mindset is. Me personally, I would say Eastern Conference playoffs, the 3 teams that are out, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Miami. 3 teams.
Atlanta out?
Yeah, I think Atlanta's out. And I think that who sneaks in? Washington sneaks in there.
Oh, my God.
Chicago sneaks in there. And the Knicks.
All right, hey, man. We're going to have to make a bet, Pete, because I do not see Atlanta going out of the playoffs, man.
Well,
hey.
The fan base will still be the same.
Man, that fan base sucks. Yeah. That fan base is crap. I'll say that right now.
I go to a lot of the games because I live here in Atlanta, and it's like you look around and I'm like, damn, you could just walk down to literally like courtside and get a seat.
Yeah, they go to Eastern Conference Finals and they still don't come out. I'm like, get the hell out of here, man.
Yep. I went to playoffs last year when they played the Nets, and literally, seven rows back, and our tickets originally were, much higher up, but then we were able to get, walk all the way down 7.
And they didn't care?
Back. Nobody said shit.
They don't care because in the Mavs, if you try to do that, they'll tell your ass to go back.
Yeah, they didn't say nothing. They were just like, all right.
Hey,
and the security guy looked right at us.
He was like, who gives a shit? No one else does.
Right, basically.
Hey, Gonzo.
Yes, sir.
Hey, who do you think is out of the playoff? What's your East playoffs picture look like with all the new changes that we've had?
Yeah, who do you have in and who do you have out?
First, I got. Well, who I have in? I have. Well, obviously Cleveland.
Obviously, you're gonna have like the Cavs and Toronto, like
Toronto, the Pacers. I got the Bulls at 4. I got the Knicks at 5. 6, I got Milwaukee.
Now they could be intriguing. That's a good point.
Yeah, I got Milwaukee at 6. 7. Who was the team I was just talking about the other day? 7, I got Boston.
Wow, dude, what the fuck, man?
Boston has got Al Horford. It's not gonna make them that much better. I just don't.
Yeah, but
I
Danny
agree.
Ainge came out today and said they're not done making moves.
No, they still have assets. They're going to trade. I wouldn't be
Nobody
surprised.
wants Jaylen Brown.
Traded.
Here's the thing. Hey, but here's the thing. Remember, and I don't know if Gonzo heard it. I know I mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned this to Pete or not. When right before the draft, Boston's trying to make all these moves with that 3rd pick, and a report came out that GMs around the league do not value the players Boston has as major assets.
Yeah.
That's why they can't make a trade.
Oh, it'll
Nobody
happen,
wants
though.
to trade. Nobody values their guys as assets, as big assets.
They got to finesse. They're going to finesse some more. Ainge is going to get his big trade. He's going to get it.
The one thing Ainge has, though, he has Boston, he has New Jersey, he has the Brooklyn Nets pick next year.
Yep.
Yeah, this year, this upcoming year.
Gonzo, 7th seed, bro, that's very fucking disrespectful, man.
I'm going to tell you who I got sneaking in the AFC. And I pondered this decision all this week. I've talked about it all this week. If they can just get one veteran, I see Philadelphia making the AFC.
Uh-oh.
Yes!
Uh-oh.
Yes!
Oh, my God. Fuck my God.
Yes! I like Philadelphia.
Y'all didn't even mention Orlando. Orlando.
I watched the guy from France. I watched the game with the guy from France. Ben Simmons is a hell of a passer. He can pass. He's nice.
Yeah.
Are we talking Summer League right now, man?
And they can talk about how he couldn't hit
It
the
doesn't
spot-up
matter.
jumper.
You know
He
what,
had
though?
He had quite a few nice spot-up jumpers the other day. I'm talking about like all net. Like, wow, he can shoot, too.
Hey, are you with it? Ben Simmons should be at some point next year. He needs to be the point guard.
Absolutely.
No, before next year, he needs the second half of this season.
So we're just going to
That's
disrespect
what
Orlando.
I'm saying. That's what I mean, though. At some point this upcoming season, Ben Simmons is your point guard.
Yeah.
You just list him like the Bucks are doing with Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be their point guard.
Breaking
Let
news.
Simmons do it.
What happened?
Breaking news, because we like to break some news here. It's not major.
Yes.
But Festus Ezeli signed with the Portland Trailblazers. So Woj just tweeted out.
He can't finish a dunk or barely
Pete,
catch.
You said that. Pete said it was coming.
I called it.
You called it, Pete.
I don't have a crystal ball or anything. I just figured that would be probably a good spot for him to fit his up.
Dude, Orlando's getting the 8th.
Do you think Orlando's in the playoffs?
I don't.
A way better coach. Ibaka. I think Ibaka's going to shine, dude. I really think Ibaka's going to shine this year.
They got to figure out what they're going to do with Vujicic, though, because now Gordon is going to start at the 3.
That's true. I think Hazonia's going to take a big leap.
Yeah, but see, now he's buried because he's going to have to if you put Gordon at the 3, where is because Jeff Green's behind Gordon.
Gordon's going to be a 3?
Yeah, they Vogel did the interview today at the press conference and said that he's playing Gordon at the 3.
And Fournier's a 2, obviously. Right?
Fournier's at the 2, and they're going to play. Basically, they'll give starters minutes to Gordon at the 3 and the backup 4 minutes.
Mark my words. We can PayPal. I'll put money on the Orlando Magic making the playoffs. There's no way, man. They've been on the.
Oh yes.
I'll put money on it, baby.
We might have to do a little pool or something.
Yeah, let's do a pool, baby.
I got money on a little like $10 pool or $10 a piece, little pool or something to do playoff odds.
But you know
You know,
what?
whoever gets the most playoff teams.
Ibaka's gonna be hungry, dude. I know he has more. I mean, he just
I
doesn't
like
lose right,
Gonzo.
bro.
I like your prediction though, man. If the Sixers make the playoffs, dude,
Oh my God!
Hey.
Let Gonzo talk. Gonzo's
All right,
got
Gonzo,
something to say.
spit your poison, man.
If they get two more, if they can just get two more decent veterans to sign and just kind of help out with the young guys a little bit, they got a lot of mismatch. Okafor can play.
Yeah.
You know, if Embiid turns out to be as good as he was predicted to be, you got two towers that can ball.
Yeah. And
Ben Simmons a mismatch at point guard. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? You got their guy from France who can shoot, who's athletic. He looks like he might be decent. You know, I mean, they got a lot of good pieces on that team. That they just need a little bit of grooming. You know, they need coaching and they need some veteran grooming on that team. A couple of veterans to come in, just groom some of the young guys out and kind of help them to orchestrate and how to pace themselves during the game. That's what they need.
You don't think they're
No.
gonna trade Embiid or
no, it'll either be Okafor or Noel. Probably Noel. Want to touch on a team in the Eastern Conference. I think is going to be a sleeper pick is the Detroit Pistons. Today
talk about them.
they got Boban Marjanovic
Mhm.
from the Spurs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he picked the unlucky Darko Milicic's number of 31. So I'm a little worried about that.
And Spurs wanted to re-sign him. It wasn't like the Spurs just let him go. The report was that they weren't able to.
Yeah, because it cost too much. They basically gave a big enough offer that the Spurs
Right.
can't afford him.
It was a restricted free agency?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to sign him. They said, I forgot who was reported, but it wasn't like they just let him go for nothing. Because that was pretty good. He's just slow, but he's good.
Yeah, but he'll play good minutes behind
Drummond. Yeah.
And then I think a trade's coming for Detroit anyway because from what I've read, they don't like the combination of Marcus Morris and Tobias Harris. They're together, so
Right.
I'm not sure which one's going to go. Probably Marcus Morris.
Yep.
But we'll see. Basically, a tweet came out from Alex Kennedy of the Basketball Insider saying that a scout at the Summer League said that look for a lot of trades to happen in the next week.
They got Laura, right?
Yeah, they got John Lure, which I don't understand because they drafted the same player, if not a better player, in Henry Ellenson.
He's like a stretch four, or what is he?
Lure's a stretch forward, and so is Ellenson. And Ellinson's looked pretty good in Summer League so far, knocking down threes and mid-range. So
they're really going for that Orlando Magic dynamic.
yeah, just exactly like Ben Gundy likes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stretch shooters. I want to touch on the Boston Celtics for a minute because we brought up touched on a little bit about Danny Ainge and some of the assets. He came out today and made the statement that the roster is not finished. They pick up the options on Jerebko and Amir Johnson, so that shores up your power forward slots. They drafted Ante Zizic, who's going to play in Europe. Yubisele, who's been playing in Summer League. He's looked really well. They drafted him at 16. And then, of course, Jaylen Brown, who had a strong second half after he got the jitters out. He's going to be a player. I like his personality off the court. I think he's going to be somebody that's going to be a face of the league as far as with community involvement, and he's going to get better and better once he settles in to a role there. They've got Terry Rozier, who's dominated the Summer League, and they've got a lot of pieces, including draft picks that they can turn around and flip for veteran guys. So I look for them to possibly be one of the teams that makes a splash in the next week, and we'll kind of see what the East landscape shapes up like. In the Western Conference, let's kind of run down since we got all you guys at once. I know we did this the other day, but we got a different group of guys here, Gonzo and Lance. I want specifically, because Matt, I know you and I touched on, kind of like our predictions for the West, but I want to hear what Lance and Gonzo, what you guys think about who's in and who's out of the playoffs. Lance, you go first, and then Gonzo, you finish it out.
All right. Well, man, I still don't know. Man, like people are saying this roster is already better than last year's roster for the Mavs, but like I don't know if they're gonna be in the playoffs this year, man. Like, it's hard for me, man. It's hard.
Who's your 1 through 8?
Oh, well, okay.
Any sleepers in there?
State, San Antonio. Fuck the third one. I don't, man. Like you could say the Clippers, but
you think Memphis? You think Portland?
Portland might make that jump to third, man. I think they make the jump to third. Clippers. Fuck. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard for the West, man. I don't even.
Jazz are improved.
The Jazz are making the playoffs this year, dude. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to jump to like 6 seed, but they're making it.
Matt, I want you to wait and reveal your sleeper pick, but wait till Gonzo goes.
Are you going to say Denver?
No. But Gonzo,
no. Pete knows my sleeper pick.
I know. Who do you got, Gonzo?
Oh, Minnesota, right?
Don't worry about my sleeper pick, damn it. Go, he's going to make Gonzo go.
Gonzo, you go, man.
I got Golden State first. I got San Antonio second. I got the Clippers third. I have the Memphis Grizzlies fourth. I have the fifth. I have the the Portland Trail Blazers. 6, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. 7, for some strange reason, I'm probably gonna have to root for Dallas because I still think I think Dallas is better. The 7th, I think Dallas.
Oh, I'm about to say what?
In Houston, and at 8, I got New Orleans. OKC's not gonna make the playoffs.
Okay, so you got OKC missing it. You got Utah missing.
Ooh.
And
hold up. Gonzo got an ooh. You may have to rethink it, Gonzo, in Utah. Because they got nice.
I can see Houston getting dropped out, honestly.
I just don't see.
Yeah. I'll give my top 8.
So hold on, let me say this, Gonzo. So you think in the A spot, are you looking at New Orleans if they're completely healthy? Is that what you're saying? That they make it?
I'm looking as if they're healthy, but see, this is one thing that makes me think that they're gonna kind of slide in and take what would have been OKC's spot. And this is something that comes to mind here. Okay, the first time when Durant got injured 33% of the games into the beginning of the season. Russell Westbrook led the way out. Russell Westbrook looked phenomenal stat-wise, but they weren't a great team or really that good. I don't think Westbrook's a real leader. And I hate when people say this. I've been hearing this all week. Russell's so athletic. He's so fast. He drops dimes. And I'm going to tell you something about Russell Westbrook's assists. If you're watching the video, you'll see a lot of Russell Westbrook's dimes aren't because he's just setting people up like a traditional point guard. He's usually making a lot of errant passes, and the guys on his team are just knocking down shots. He's getting credit for them. You've seen OG's tweets, right? Gonzo, he said, Russell Westbrook, like, he passes to get an assist. He's not trying to make his teammates better. He passes because he wants that stat.
Plus, he has the ball in his hand so much when Durant's not there that he should have more than 10 assists.
James Harden is the same way.
You know, and like I said again, to have all the athleticism, to be that fast, to be, to jump that high and all that stuff, to be that stupid in the last 2 minutes of game is absolutely nothing to me.
So you don't like the Oladipo dynamic?
No. Victor Oladipo, bro, I had way higher expectations for Oladipo. And after seeing him in the NBA, everybody kept saying he was kind of like the D-Wade type of player. And I was, look, that's blasphemy to say that. That he's even close to D-Wade.
He's still pretty good, though.
Fraudulent.
Oladipo's been in the league 3 years and hasn't had a season as good as D-Wade's rookie year.
Come on, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I like Oladipo, though. I like Oladipo.
Yeah,
I want to keep,
I don't know how he'll do it with Westbrook, but
let me jump in here, and Pete, you know who my sleeper team is.
Yes.
But I'm going to give my top 8 because I didn't do that. Pete knows kind of my top 2, actually. I got San Antonio 1. No, I don't think they get to the NBA Finals. Yeah, I think Golden State's going to struggle early. Remember Miami, 11-10 to start the season, and Lance will know this. 10-11 season, when it all just really went, like, when it really came to a head is when they were at Dallas and lost.
But
when they dropped to 11-10.
If I can just
I do think. Go ahead.
I'll make it quick. But that's a whole different team, though. The team of the Warriors they share the ball a lot more than Wade and LeBron and them did at first.
That's true. I just think you bring in a guy such as Kevin Durant, I think it is going to take time. And I've always prefaced this by saying I could be wrong, and if it clicks early, watch out. But I'm going to stick with it. I think San Antonio gets the best record. Golden State still gets to the finals. I'm not going to take Golden State's going to the finals. Hell, they're going to win the championship, I think. But Golden State, San Antonio's 1. Golden State is 2. I got the Clippers 3. After thought, Pete knows I actually did have OKC 4, but after some thought, I got Utah 4.
Whoa.
I love what Utah has done. Yes, I think Utah is going to be nice. And
See, I can't put
I'm going Utah 4.
Bro, we're going to have to put some money on these playoffs, man. We're going to have to get something going.
I could be wrong. These are just what I could be wrong, and y'all could be. You're laughing
bold,
at me now, but
it could.
I'm always
Hey, anything
bold.
can happen because you predicted Thon Maker, so I'm never going to
Yes,
see
I did.
Denver.
I predicted Thon Maker at 10. I called
And
it
that
on the
was
show
well
the night
before the
before
reports
draft.
came out.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
I called Thon Maker at number 10. 5, I have Portland. 6, Minnesota, which I think could finish as high as 5. I got T-Wolves 6. I think they could finish 5. 7, I've got Memphis. 8, let me see. The Dallas Mavericks. I actually think Dallas's team overall is better this year than last year.
That's what people keep telling me.
Lance, hear me out though, Lance. Darren Williams, I think, is going to be just as good. I think he still has a little bit to prove. I know you shake your head. And he's a Dallas
good last
guy.
year. He's good. He's just hurt.
He was very good last year. Yeah. If he stays healthy, I think he is, at worst case scenario, he's just as good as he was last year, which would be awesome if he stays healthy. You'll take that, right? You'd take that. Okay.
And Wesley Matthews,
I think, is going to be. Yeah, I think he's going to be better.
And I do too. I think those threes are going to fall this year.
Yeah. I like Harrison Barnes over Chandler Parsons, and hear me out why. Barnes needs a change of scenery. Classic change of scenery guy. But he's going to play more than Chandler Parsons did, which automatically helps. At the 4, Dirk, I don't need to say anything. I've said it many times on Twitter. Dirk and Hakeem are the only 2 players in the history of the league who won a championship without another All-Star on their roster that season. 5, I love Bogut. That was a beautiful pickup. That was awesome.
Basically nothing, too.
Yeah, exactly. They got Bogut for nothing. The bench, it'll be interesting to see how they fill the bench out, but what is it? Is it Justin Anderson?
Yeah.
I like him. And
I think he's going to take a step up.
Yeah, and Powell's nice.
If he can improve his jumper, like mid-range, I think Powell's going to be really nice.
Right. And let me give a sleeper, though, as a team who could jump in and knock, some. I think if healthy, Phoenix is going to be better than people think.
No.
Because remember though,
You love Booker, baby.
Before all those injuries last year, before all the injuries, Phoenix was right there 7-8. I mean, they had they started out like 15, what were they? They were like 12-8, 12-7 to start out before all the injuries. Yeah. And they got all these guys back. Devin Booker, that's my surprise.
I just don't think he's enough. I don't think he's enough right now.
Y'all think Bledsoe gets traded?
I think Bledsoe.
That contract's pretty good.
Before the trade deadline, he will.
I would trade Bledsoe and Knight.
Dude, Bledsoe has a really nice contract, dude. He's only getting paid like $12 million a year.
I think if Knight's willing to if Knight's willing to play 6-man, keep him. I don't think he's the point guard. Because let me ask all of you this, guys, before we jump. Pete, Gonzo, Lance, Devin Booker's your franchise guy, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Devin Booker's the guy you build around.
Absolutely.
Brandon Knight is not a point guard. Bring him off the bench. If he's willing to play the 6-man role, you bring him off the bench because he'll be a fucking hell of a 6-man. I like Brandon Knight in that role. He will be nice. 6-man of the year candidate. I'll call it right now. If he's willing to do that.
Right.
Trade Bledsoe, get a young. Hell, I'd rather have. I wouldn't. Minnesota would do it. Phoenix probably won't. I'd rather have Ricky Rubio than Eric Bledsoe, in all honesty. Just because I think he fits to make Booker better. Because Eric Bledsoe is a scoring guard.
Right.
Right.
He's awesome defensively. He's a great defensive player. But Rubio is he's not great defensively, but he's very good. But he moves the ball offensively. He's going to get your young guys involved. He's going to get Chris involved. He's going to get Bender, Devin Booker, T.J. Warren. He'll throw lobs to Tyson Chandler. I think that's what you do. Moving for a guy like Rubio. Thibodeau would love the trade, obviously, because Booker can come and play defense. Bring Chris Dunn off the bench as your sixth man. Let Booker and remember, going into last year, there were rumors that Bledsoe was going to sign with the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
That's the trade I would make. I think it would work for both teams.
I'm gonna roll through my 8 because I'm just I don't know, for some weird reason I have this weird feeling on a team. So Warriors 1, Spurs 2, Clippers 3, Trailblazers 4, Grizzlies 5, Jazz 6, and then 7 and 8 get interesting.
He was.
No.
Wow.
I think the T-Wolves narrowly missed the playoffs. Next year, I think they get 6th seed and get in there. 7, I've got OKC, and 8, and this is because of the coaching
Mavs.
and just how hard they work on the defense.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not. I wish I could say the Mavericks. I'm going to go out and just make a bold prediction. The Denver Nuggets.
Hey, go ahead.
See, I knew someone was going to pick them.
Interesting.
Because.
Yes, I love you, Pete. Pick the Nuggets.
Wait, I'm going to say the Denver Nuggets because.
Over the Mavs. Fuck you, Pete.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm going to say this because they have Nurkic. They've got Moutier's improved on his second year. They've got Gallinari back healthy. You've got Wilson Chandler coming back healthy. If you play Kenneth Faried, he can rebound.
Will they trade him?
Yes.
I swear they've been trying to trade him, or it just
They've
seems
been trying, but I mean, either way, I think they're long, athletic. They play good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Malone is a defense-first coach. I think they find a way to sneak in there. Just for some weird reason, I don't know why the last couple of days it's kind of come over me to say that Denver is going to be in there. They barely sneak in to the A spot over the Timberwolves.
Bro.
It's going to come down to those two. Dallas, because I think that Dallas doesn't make it because I think injury concerns to Darren Williams and possible injury concerns to Bogut. That's the reason why. They have to have a little bit more depth.
Let me ask you this, though, Pete. If you know that everybody's healthy for Dallas,
All right, if everybody's completely healthy
Dallas
for the season, then they sneak
that's,
in.
That's how I base my prediction.
Then they make it A spot.
That's
and
how
Oh my God! I don't want 8th seed. I'd rather not make the playoffs. Fuck that. I'm not trying to get mutilated on national TV, man. Fuck that. We have our pick this year.
I don't think that OKC falls back far enough because I don't like Gonzo. To your point, I don't like Russell Westbrook. Yeah, triple double's nice.
Right, but you're losing most of those games.
You're going to lose a lot of them. I think they're going to rely on, winning games with, guys stepping in like Cantor or Oladipo stepping up or, some of their more role players having to play a role. So I think they reached the 7th seed. I think we can all say Pringles and the Rockets aren't going to make the playoffs.
I don't think they are, no.
No.
Sacramento's damn sure not making the playoffs.
No.
Oh, God.
We'll get traded this year. This year he gets traded.
Rudy Gay is going to get moved. Cousins could get moved. I mean, there's too many what ifs with that team.
He's pissed. I mean, he's beyond pissed now.
I don't like Alvin Gentry as a head coach. I wasn't a big fan of the move when they got him because I don't think that, in the long run, Tyreek Evans fits that system. Holiday can score, but he's not a shooter. that offense is like a run and gun, need shooters. Anthony Davis is a great piece, but I don't think he's somebody that could be a franchise leader in the long term. I think he's more of a
second or third option.
So let me ask you this,
option,
Pete, real quick. Pete, speaking of Anthony Davis, so do you think he's not a franchise player then?
No, he's a franchise player. I just think that he needs better guard help.
So what you're saying, like, I see where you're going, because I think Jimmy's a franchise player, but he's not a number one option. Are you kind of saying that?
That's correct.
Davis is the guy you build your franchise around, but he's not the guy you build your offense around.
But scoring-wise, yeah.
Right.
Okay, I get that. Yes, I'm with you. Even though I think Anthony Davis.
In my opinion, Anthony Davis, everybody hyped him up this past season, but I think already Karl Anthony Towns is better than Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Lonzo, what do you think? Towns or Anthony Davis?
Karl Anthony Towns, easy.
Yes.
Gonzo, he's a real deal, dude.
A lot of I've said this on I said it on Dead End Sports Podcast on Tuesday. I've said it on here. Are you with me on this? I hope you are. Karl Anthony Towns is already one of the best 10 players in the NBA.
Easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
15. Yeah. I mean, dude, what he showed this year, oh my God.
He can play defense, he can rebound, he can hit the mid-range.
And he can dribble, he can pass,
He's so elusive for a center. Oh my God.
The only reason I don't have Minnesota making the playoffs is because I don't trust Rubio and I don't trust Levine. If you had some better options back there, I just don't. I like Tibbs, and I think he can get the most out of players, but I just don't trust those two enough right now.
Let me ask you this: if my scenario comes true and Eric Bledsoe's your guard, are they in?
But does Eric Bledsoe make any of the rest of them better because he's a score-first guard?
That's true. Good point.
I think Wiggins is the one that has to step up for them to really.
Wiggins is going to have to step up, and Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to go to a next level even more.
A next level?
Which he will. Yeah, he has to. Anthony Towns can take it to a next level.
They've got to sit. They got to get away from Gorgui Dieng at the power forward. They just need to
put him at the 5.
Put Garnett in the mentorship role. Don't play his ass. Just sit on the bench.
And what are they going to do with Pekovic?
You know what you do?
Pekovic will get traded.
He has a decent contract. He's hurt all the time.
I don't think they're going to trade him. I think they're going to release him.
I personally, you don't play Dieng at the 4. I think you play Karl Anthony Towns can play the 4.
He's more versatile.
5.
Yeah.
I like Muhammad as a bench player.
Yes,
but the guard play, I'm not a huge fan of because I don't like Levine's out of control.
Well, we don't know what Levine is because he's not a point guard. But
you know what I think Levine is? I think Levine is Jamal Crawford 2.0, but way more athletic.
I would say actually more Jason Richardson than in that role because when Richardson came out, if you remember, he was basically a dunker and he could shoot threes, and that's what Levine does. Now,
you know what though? Here's the one difference I will. Real quick, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Jason Richardson could put the ball on the floor.
Right.
At all. I think Levine is more athletic too.
Not
by much, but he is more athletic.
Yeah.
I got something to add to this too. That
Go ahead, Gonzo.
We're making all these predictions for 1 through 8, but none of this is going to matter come playoff time because we will be seeing a Cleveland and Golden State final again, and Golden State will go 74-8 in the regular season. They're going to break that.
Oh, he's calling it. Yes.
All right.
And guess what? They won't lose a game in the playoffs.
They won't lose a game.
Let me ask you
lose a game in the playoffs.
All right.
Pete, before I know this is your thing, but I gotta say this before anybody spoils it. I think this is a good segue. What Gonzo just said. Predictions on Golden State Warriors win total.
They're not going to do the record.
Real quick though. Also, because Lance and we didn't have Gonzo when Durant signed. I don't want you to say, is he a bitch? Is he not a bitch? I don't give a damn. Who cares? No. People love it. People hate it. Who gives a damn, right? Who gives a shit? How do you think it affects the Golden State Warriors do you
Right.
think what do you think it does for Golden State, both of you guys? Because we know some people love it, some people hate it.
I
If
mean,
you
it makes
hate
them better.
Probably, yeah,
It makes them better.
I think we all agree. Gonzo.
Man, look, it makes them way, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the way they play Steph Curry in the finals, those open shots that Harrison Barnes missed, KD won't miss.
Exactly.
And then you know what? Now
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Now you have.
Go ahead, Gonzo.
Now you have KD where you have to step out on his stick and you have to worry about him now, so you can't help as much. Meaning that
Who are you going to double now? You can't double. You can't even double Zaza.
yeah,
You can't.
That's the main thing. That's what I was just about to say. Now you got number one-on-one matchups, and now Curry can dribble, and I can go to the rack type of thing, kick it out to KD. KD can dribble, go to the hole, kick it out to Clay. It's just so many things. What they've done to
yes, it's going to be Gonzo. It's going to be beautiful to watch.
It will.
It's going to be the best offensive basketball we've ever seen.
But I'm not against him. I'm not against him signing to any team. I'm not against it. I think it's called free agency for a reason. Free agency. You go wherever you want to go. But I do think that this weakens the NBA. When we keep everybody,
It's a away rivalry.
The NBA has tricked us so bad with ratings. Like they trick us to make us think that because the game has high ratings that the games are competitive. That's why I've been saying for the longest that, man, the NBA it's rigged to a degree. Not to say the shots can be rigged, but you can rig games with foul calls and kill momentum. Like, this is something I never understood, right? And it's just something to kind of go into what I wanted to say. Is LeBron James is a very physical defender, right? How is it he's as physical as he is, and he only leads the game with one
But he
foul?
never fouls out.
And are you serious?
Exactly.
But you call Steph, like people say all the time, like Steph Curry in the finals, like, yeah, you know, he fouled out in game 6. But if you look at the fouls, okay, right? They gave him 3 fouls. Two foul calls, I can say they were blatant fouls. But the third foul, he kind of reached behind Kyrie Irving. It's like you gave the guy 3 fouls for a reason. You know why? Because now that's
you know what, Gonzo, on that one. Gonzo, are you talking about where he took Kyrie's money?
Oh,
when he took his money and went the other way.
That
was clean, but that was clean. But
he took a little body bump. But like again, that happens in every play in the NBA.
Absolutely. Hey, and Pete knows in our pre-show when Marcus had to bounce, but Marcus made a lot of good points in the pre-show. Curry, all running off the ball and all that stuff. During the regular season, they grabbed, they hold. He got the call. In the Western Conference Finals, in the finals, he was not getting those calls.
That's true.
They literally beat the shit out of him. And as a shooter, Pete knows this. I know this. That affects you. It really does. You get the ball open. Am I going to get hit? When I come off, am I going to get grabbed? Am I going to get bumped? Just a little tap. That's why when you see these calls, guy releases the shot, he gets hit maybe on the hand slightly. That's going to affect your shot. People who aren't shooters don't understand that. That's why when you see, that was a bad call. No, that's an absolutely good call.
But to answer your question,
that call as a shooter.
To answer your question, Matt, they're not going to break the record.
No, I don't think they break the record.
They're not going to be worried about it this year.
How many wins? No. How many wins do you think they get? You're going to be shocked at what I say.
I'm going to say 66, 67.
I'm going to say 69, 69 wins because they rest some of their guys along the way.
Which they can do.
And
Gonzo,
you'll see a lot of fourth quarters.
Oh, Curry has to rest with his leg.
I think Curry's going to be fine. 70 wins
this year. I'm telling you.
This year for goals.
74 wins.
All right.
Okay. Hey. I'm going to stock all of you. Pete, I think if you guys, everybody who follows me on Twitter, if you saw it, I say they get no more than 58 or 59 wins.
Yeah, you said that the other day.
I did. I call me crazy, call me stupid, but I still think they win the championship.
I wouldn't call you stupid.
I'm one of the few people, and I know I'm comparing this to Miami, and it's similar, but it's different. I know these guys are champions. I know they understand how to play with each other. You add a guy the caliber of Kevin Durant, arguably, let's just be honest. I love Steph Curry. We all love Steph Curry. He was MVP 2 years in a row. He's my favorite player in the league. I'll admit it. He's not one. Kevin Durant is right behind LeBron James as the best player in the NBA. Let's just say what it is. If you're building a franchise, all four of you, are you taking Kevin Durant or Steph Curry? You're taking KD.
Durant.
Yeah. I don't think he's as pulverizing as he once was.
No, I do. I think the problem with Kevin Durant is kind of like what we saw with LeBron before he won a championship. He was always coming up short, and I think it's fair that we blast KD for this. We got on, and I know Gonzo may disagree because LeBron was the chosen one. He was essentially, to all you biblical people out there, don't take offense. But LeBron was basically considered the second coming of Christ, right, Gonzo?
Really, he was.
Pretty much. Yeah. And KD wasn't, but
this is King James.
Yes,
really?
and I did not want to take it biblical. I mean, no offense to any of you out there. Please don't take that the wrong way. Yes, but what I'm saying is, we love Kevin Durant. He does all these things. Game 6 against San Antonio, 2013, 2014, can't remember. I think it was 2014, conference final. Game on the line. What does Kevin Durant do? He dribbles it off his goddamn foot.
What did he do this year?
It's fair that we go.
He had a late turnover.
He had some too.
Yeah, exactly. And he was jacking up Was it Game 6 in OKC where he's shooting 35-foot jumpers, offensive rebound, kick out Durant, and just throws it up there. Get the hell out of here. And I like Kevin Durant. I'm a fan of his. I think he's great. But I think he deserves some criticism.
He does.
I think he does.
He's passive in too many spots.
Yeah, I think he is. But there is a slight defense in his. He's playing with Russell Westbrook. I think that's part of it. And we saw, and Gonzo saw the report. I'm sure Lance saw it. Pete saw it. One of the reasons KD left, and everybody knows by now, it did not come down to Golden State and OKC. It came down to Golden State and Boston.
Right.
He basically ruled OKC out. My guess is he ruled them out when the season ended. It was over. He thought they peaked because of Russell Westbrook. He was very frustrated.
Him, though.
And I do believe Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are tight. They are boys. They just don't click together. It's just a bad matchup. And KD does fit effortlessly into this Golden State offense. But I do think because Kevin Durant is used to having the ball half the time, it's going to take time to adjust. I say 30 games, and that's why I say 58, because I think through 30 games they're 17-13. I could be wrong, and if they click early, then Gonzo's right. This team breaks the record. If they click early within the first 10 games, it's over. They may not lose the last 60 games of the season unless they're hurt or rest guys. This team is awesome. And we didn't even talk about the guys they've signed.
And 2K17 is going to be damn near unplayable.
Go ahead, Pete.
Into that. So they lost Andrew Bogut, Harrison Barnes. They lost Festus Ezeli. Those were their main.
And Barbosa.
They lost Rush and Barbosa.
Well, I was going to say their main rotation guys.
But he played decent when he was in.
Right.
Yeah,
Barbosa was signed with Phoenix, which doesn't make any sense to me other than that he played there before.
He just wants to end his career there. Plus, they gave him more money, right?
Is this Barbosa's third stint with Phoenix?
Could be.
I think it is.
He's got more money though. That's why he went. He's got a championship. Now he's gonna get his money. I don't think it's that bad. He's gonna be on a sorry team, but
then they lose. They lose McAdoo. So basically, your core guys. You got your starting five: Zaza Pachulia, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Then you've got Iguodala, Livingston, David West. And now you've got Ian Clark re-signed as another shooter off the bench. So basically, they need to fill it out with, like a Mo Spates, bring him back.
Ray Allen, they're talking about Ray Allen.
I just don't know how
true that is. I don't know how true that is, but
I just don't. I mean, it'd be great if Ray Allen did come back, but then it would be definition of chasing rain.
Pete, can I give a shout out to our guy Ryan from Off the Bench?
Yeah, absolutely.
He made a good point he made a good point on the Dead End Sports podcast the other day. You bring in Ray Allen. This is the greatest spacing we have ever seen on an NBA floor, because you know you are going to get that lineup: Curry, Klay Thompson, Ray Allen, KD, and Draymond Green. All those guys are damn near 40% three-point shooters. With the offense that Steve Kerr runs, the back cuts, all that, the off-ball screens, how do you guard that team?
It was funny because Steve Kerr made a joke, like he always does, at the press conference for Kevin Durant. He said, if he starts.
I like that.
Yeah. To me, it's like he doesn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah, he's like Popovich.
Right.
No, he's more like Popovich. Yeah, I think Kerr is a cross, though, between Popovich and Phil. You can see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they lose the rim protection of Bogut and Ezeli.
Yeah.
I think that's going to hurt them there. But I think that basically, otherwise, Zaza gives you a little bit more offense. He basically can create, with picks, basically create space.
And make a free throw.
And he can make free throws, and he's a good rebounder. So I don't think you lose that much outside of that, but I think that, you can cover up a lot of mistakes with the length of Durant. Klay Thompson, obviously a good defender, and then Draymond Green's a good defender.
Hey, man, Livingston and Iggy off the bench is still pretty strong.
Yeah. And David West.
Yeah.
West can shoot the medium range, and he can rebound.
And the thing about Iggy now, with Harrison Barnes gone, Iggy doesn't have to – he's not going to have to, it's not going to be imperative of his playing time, because when Harrison Barnes was there, Iggy had to do a lot more. But now with Kevin Durant there, he doesn't have to – it's not stressful.
That's a good point Lance made. Iggy can now come in and play 20 minutes a game if he has to.
He doesn't have to
He doesn't have to play 25, No, he doesn't. Absolutely. This is going to be a really interesting – and I want to get to Lance on this because he's a Mavericks fan. He saw Z-Patch. We got Dakota on the Dead End Sports. We heard Dakota and his take on Z-Patch, which I agreed with, him being a Bucks fan. But Lance, with your 1 year with Z-Patch, what did you think?
He's good.
What does he bring to Golden?
Pretty bad at the end.
Yeah, but that's true. But what does he bring to Golden State?
Well, now it's going to be different for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What does he bring to Golden State arguably
he's
the best
tough.
team in the NBA?
He's tough. He's a fighter. I mean, he's pretty smart. He's a decent passer. I don't know if he's better than Bogut as a big passing, because Bogut's pretty damn good.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He's going to fight for you. I think he's going to mesh well with Draymond Green. I think him and Green together, as far as being aggressive, it'll be pretty interesting, but he plateaued pretty bad, dude. He was fighting for playing time at the end of his stint with Dallas.
That's fair. Let me ask you this, because I didn't watch a lot of Maverick games. I do have League Pass. I get it every year.
Right.
I've had it the last 13 years.
Mavs aren't the most exciting team to watch, let's be honest.
Yeah, but Warriors were the most exciting team last year too. But still, no. What I'm getting at is, is Z-Patch a tough guy? Is he going to bring toughness?
Yes.
No, hell yeah.
That's what I want to know.
When he got into it with Garnett when he was with Atlanta.
That's what I want to know.
I'll never forget that.
He'll be able to replace Bogut's toughness.
Yeah, I won't go as far as saying he's better than Bogut though.
No. But I do believe, like we were talking earlier, the Mavs did get a steal with Bogut. I know you like that.
Yeah, I think that's our best move we made all. That's my favorite move that we made.
I'm gonna shock everybody out there as much as we bashed Harrison Barnes. Let's not take the contract under consideration because it was absolutely asinine. Barnes is going to be. I think Barnes is going to average about 18 for y'all. Maybe even.
I can see that. I can see 17, 18.
Barnes is going to be a borderline all-star with the Mavericks this year.
He's not going to score over 20 though, and I don't know about
borderline. No, I didn't say all-star. I said borderline.
What do you define as borderline? Like right on the edge of it, or
I actually think he will be one of those guys where we look at. How every year there's 3 or 4 guys who are snubbed? I think Barnes will be one of those 4. I'm not saying he's better than everybody, but his
Bro.
numbers, the way he plays, I think he's going to be one of those 3 or 4 we look at. Like, if he doesn't make it, he got snubbed. I don't think he's worth the 4 years, $94 million. I could be wrong, and he could be, and we see it all the time in the NBA and in baseball, football. There are those classic change of scenery guys. Barnes won his championship. He wants to now be that guy. Like, I won a championship, I sacrificed. I mean, you got to remember, this was the #1 ranked player in high school.
Yeah.
I'll say
Dude
this.
was a beast.
Remember
He was looked at as the next Kevin Durant coming out of high school.
Remember the video? Him and Kyrie and a bunch of them were good friends. Remember the video they did for Draft Express where it was like Kendall Marshall, Harrison Barnes, Kyrie Irving, who else was in there? Reggie Bullock, all of them. They were all good friends. And one of the questions they said, which one of you is the best player? And everybody but Kyrie looked at Harrison Barnes, as okay, you're the best one to come out. He also played, basically at a higher than average level at North Carolina, but I think that he struggled early on to adapt.
He did not live up to expectations.
Yeah, and I think he struggled to adapt so far in the NBA, but now he might actually get his chance to.
Pete, you're a rankings guy. I know you followed high. You do somewhat follow high. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Barnes was basically the #1 ranked player coming out of high school, right? He was that dude. He was supposed to be KD. He was close. He was up there, top 3.
I think he was number
Top 4.
2, if I'm not. He might have been #1 though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I was talking, and we were going to bring my guy Sid Mill Harris on. And let me preface this by letting everybody. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me see real quick, because it was 2010, and I'm trying to remember.
While you look, go ahead. Go ahead. Go to Rivals.
What you want to, and I'll look it up.
You look it up on Rivals, because it'll show the rankings on Rivals.
Right.
But a guy we're going to bring on, my buddy Sid Mill Harris. He played at University of Texas on their Final Four team. He guarded Carmelo Anthony. He was going to come on with us tonight. He's in the Navy now, so things happen. But me and him were talking, and this was going into before Harrison Barnes started his senior year. And I'm talking to my buddy Sid, and we were talking about Harrison Barnes. Like, holy shit, this dude is like KD. He's 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". He can handle it. He can shoot it. And Sid actually, by the way, had to guard Kevin Durant in a workout at UT. He had, like I said, he had to guard Carmelo. If you guys go out, look at an old school Jordan Brand commercial from few years ago for the NCAA tournament. Jordan Brand did a commercial. You'll see my guy sitting there getting jayed up by Carmelo. But Sid did tell me, and he will, when we get him on here, he'll confirm he got paid for that. Jordan Brand did have to pay him, but he said he thought Harrison Barnes was unstoppable. He said
Barnes
that dude
was
is
number
great.
2 behind Josh Selby.
Selby, yeah, that's right. Josh Selby got blackballed. Josh Selby, he got blackballed.
Yeah,
Josh Selby is nice. He got blackballed.
He's gonna be.
Was he a bonehead or what?
He's playing in that
No,
tournament.
he wasn't really. No, he wasn't even a bonehead.
Yeah.
He just, I don't know why. I mean, I'm not going to say it here, but there's a reason. I think he got blackballed. If you look it up, you might find some things. I don't want to say it because I don't want to take it there. But Josh Selby was nice.
Type it in real quick over here. I want to see.
No, we'll talk about it.
I'll tell you, we'll talk about it. When we go off, I will let you know, Lance, why he got blackballed. Why I think he did.
Let me just give you the top 5 in the class in the 2010. So Selby was 1, Barnes was 2, Cantor was 3, Kyrie was 4, and Jared Sullinger was 5.
Yeah. Now remember, everybody, and Pete knows this, Lance knows, some of this, you have 5, 6, 7, 8 different ranking groups, but but these are the guys who typically, those guys Pete mentioned, were all considered the top 10 guys in the country, high school. Because it can change depending on what ranking you look at. Man, I saw a ranking where Kyrie Irving was like 9 or 10. Yeah, Perry Jones was nice.
Yeah, imagine because he's behind Barnes, Cantor, and Tobias Harris as the him and Tony Mitchell that went to Missouri. They're all the top five forwards.
Tony Mitchell went to what's the school that Larry Brown coached at? That's where Tony Mitchell was at. Is it SMU? Yeah, Tony Mitchell was SMU. He's a Dallas guy. Got drafted by Detroit. Tony Mitchell, super athletic.
Oh, I remember.
Very good basketball.
No. Did he go there or did he go to UNT?
No,
I believe Tony Mitchell went to SMU.
Yeah,
unless
but
it's a different Tony Mitchell. The one who played for Detroit played for Larry Brown. The Tony Mitchell that made it to the NBA. Second round pick. He played for Larry Brown at SMU.
So guards, just real quick while I'm looking at it, guards for 2010, Selby, Irving, Brandon Knight, Corey Joseph, and Reggie Bullock. So Reggie Bullock's not that
Reggie
shit
Bullock,
since he's been involved. I thought he was going to be
went
a
to
player.
North Carolina Clippers, yeah. You know what? I think Reggie Bullock came out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because 3-and-D guys were not looked at like they are now. If Reggie Bullock would have been 3 or 4 years
and he
later,
had injuries too.
Yeah. That's why it just depends on the era you come out in.
Right.
Like look at Trajan. Look at a guy like Trajan Langdon. If Trajan Langdon came out in our era now, granted he was a lottery pick back, in '99.
He would have made it longer than he made it with the Cavs then.
Yeah, he would have made it longer now because
his deficiencies on defense won't show as much.
No, he was J.J. Redick. He was J.J. Redick.
Yeah. Real quick, before we end up, before we go to our last segment, because I'm going to open it up to whatever you guys want to talk about. Just want to shout out the chat room. Animals07, Julian Lamenzo. What's up, Julian? We got to get you back on, man. Greg Smith.
Hey, Pete, we got to get Greg on here.
Yeah,
Greg is always a very big supporter of us. Yeah. Greg, we're going to get you on, brother.
Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, we're getting you.
We got to get Greg on.
Hey, Greg, if you got Twitter, man,
He does. Hey, he does.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Okay.
We're going to get you on, brother.
I'll have to DM you, and we'll get you on a show. Orlando, I want to get you on, man. You're always a big supporter as well. Orlando Till.
Thanks, guys.
Los X23, big supporter. Every show he's here. Want to try to get you guys on. So yeah, man, we need to do a big support show where we get all these chat room guys into the show. So
absolutely.
Hit me up. I mean, you can hit any of the three of us up and let us know. We'd be glad to have you. Like I said, we're going to roll through with at least 2 shows a week. For us at least, and then we'll probably, we're doing some stuff with Q. Shout out to Q, and Ryan and Dakota, and all those guys. Stowe was on here earlier. Stowe had to drop out unfortunately, but big things coming. So we're getting bigger and bigger, and just trying to touch on all kinds of topics. Shout out to Byron and Mike. They couldn't be here either. So. But guys, I want to wrap it up. I want to give the floor to each of you. Like 2 minutes each or something. Just touch on. It doesn't have to be basketball. Whatever you want to touch on. If it's basketball, great. If not, doesn't matter. But Lance, you go first, and then Matt, you go, and then I'll finish it up.
Okay. So I know. Was it yesterday? We talked about I didn't, but y'all talked about the unfortunate
Alton Sterling
practices and the law enforcement, and it's just been real. I know it's been bad, but I mean, just in the last 3 days or 4 days, there's been many reports of different things happening. For instance, the man that got shot in the passenger seat with his wife driving. That was,
my God!
Yeah, pretty intense, man.
That was disgusting.
Yeah.
And he had his 4-year-old daughter was in the back seat.
So
to handcuff the girlfriend, and then you could hear the cop was panicking. It's almost like the guy reminded me his voice and the strain that he had. It's bad to say, but Joe Swanson from Family Guy, you know how he strains whenever he's yelling, and he had that panic trembling like he was about to cry, the cop, because he knew he screwed up.
He knew
Right.
he knew he fucked up. He was wrong.
So
Go ahead,
that's
Lance.
something really intense to see when you're not like I just like was scrolling through my timeline and that just was right there. I was like, holy, like
Yeah.
I was not expecting anything like that.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate, man, and like I try not to talk about a lot of these things because I didn't look up reports and stuff, but that's just blatantly like
Go
you
ahead,
just see
Lance.
that and you're just like,
Yeah.
dude, what in the world?
It's bullshit. Hey, it's bullshit.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna get off. I mean, most cases they get
Yeah,
off.
they absolutely will.
I mean,
Hey,
Zimmerman
that's
wasn't even a cop, and he was able to get off. So
Yeah.
Yep.
He should have been Friday. He should have been. He
yeah,
should have
he was
been
a
fucking
freaking not
burned
even
for
a
that.
rent-a-car. He just some
The
voluntary.
cops told him not to pursue Trayvon. Trayvon Martin didn't do shit to him.
right.
You know, and
The kid got some
I'm
damn
going to say
skills.
this. Yeah. Now, if I offend anybody, I apologize, and I want to come out and say this. And Pete knows because I was on the thing yesterday. I didn't
Right.
say it. I didn't speak much yesterday, and I
Yeah.
know. And if you disagree, Pete, you know there's no hard feelings. But
Right.
I was damn near with Q almost 100% on everything he said. You know, growing up in the environment that I grew in, and you know, it really saddens me to see all this stuff because this is crap. You know, we're supposed to be like a nation of immigrants. We accept everybody, and we see this bullshit going on, and it just really pisses me off. You know, I understand when people say, and when Q made I forgot who he was quoting, but basically he was saying the peacefulness, the praying, the being humble, it's going to lead to violence. And it saddens me to say I see where he's coming from. It is coming to a boiling point. And we really need to take that into consideration. You know, and us, you know, as being white males in this country, we have to do our part. You know, we have to wake these people. We have to wake people up who want to be naive and want to sweep it under the rug. This shit is real. It is happening. We don't want it to come to violence. All three of us. None of us want this to come to violence. Pete agrees. I know
Right.
Lance agrees.
Right.
We don't want to see a race war in this country.
Yeah,
That
there
is
could be
what
another
this is
civil
coming
war,
from.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And my buddy that I was going to bring on today, we were talking about this exact same subject 6 years ago. This was 2010. A new civil war is coming in this country, and it's going to be a race war.
Right.
You know, and we've got to all come together. This is crap.
But I don't think it's just race, honestly, man. Like, I mean, of course, it sucks because there are freaking white cops. Like, and most of the time it is white cops. But I just think in general, law enforcement is crap. Like, I'm not the guy that thinks all cops are bad. I don't think that.
No, let me say this. And
I
I
think
did
the
not say this
standards in which
yesterday.
they have to go through, the training they have to go through,
Yeah, they got to do it all over again. It's got to be
screening
overhauled.
needs to be improved.
Yeah.
This is what scares me, and this happened to me back in 2002. I'm going to, and this was in Texas. This was in Houston, Katy, Texas, west side of Houston. I don't know if you've heard of a lot of, you know, if you look it up, you'll see. I'm going to a church to play basketball during the afternoon. I get pulled over. I'm in a school. It's a school zone. The school had just started up. It was right before I was going to go back to school in California. And, you know, high school, you know, the local public schools just started. So I'm in this school zone going to this church. I get honked at by a police officer. And I'm like, what the fuck is he honking at me for? I'm going the school speed. And, you know, in Houston, just like in Dallas, probably 20 miles an hour in a school zone, right?
Yep.
I'm going 20. I'm going probably 18. And, you know, I'm listening to freaking Michael Jackson. It's not like I'm blast, you know.
NWA or something.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm not jamming it. Fuck the police, and you know, I know some of us want to say that. And I don't fault anybody who does. In all honesty, you know, I can come off as militant at times. I don't care. But I get pulled over. The first thing these dudes do, they come at me, guns drawn. And this is a minor traffic stop. I get out. You know, I roll down the window. I open the. I get out. You know, they're basically like, sit the fuck down. What are you doing? And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on here? They got me. The first thing they asked me, this is a routine traffic stop. Do you have anything that can be confused as a weapon or a hand grenade or anything like that? I'm like, and in all honesty, I told them no. Only thing I have that may be considered was this basketball on the passenger side. I told them that. And I'm thinking to myself, and when I go back and I see everything that's going on now, and I think about it, and it does sadden me. imagine if I was a person of color, what they would have done to me.
But they already took it to that extreme.
And yeah,
What did they ultimately
imagine if
they pulled you over for?
because I was speeding in a school zone.
Wow, really?
They knew they had nothing on me. I don't know why, and I mean maybe they thought I was a skinhead. Look, my hair's been the same way. I have a receding hairline. I've shaved my head since I was 21.
But you listen to Michael Jackson though.
Come on home.
And yeah, I know. I didn't have it blasting though, but it
Right.
just it really, that's when it really hit me, like, and I was like, damn, I got lucky. Had I have been a young African American male, I was 20 years old at the time, and I had been a 20-year-old African American male, what the fuck would the guys have done to me? They probably would have put two between my chest, just for moving, and that's when it really hit me, and that's why I understand. Like, if you look at the history of this country, you know, and we can talk when we're off here, and if you guys disagree, I'm not going to hate on any of y'all. I'm not like that. But
Right.
every revolution in this country has come to violence is what got people to where they wanted to be. Look what
Right.
we did. You know, our people, all three of us, our people. What did we do? We
Well, we got
came
the
over here
Indians.
because we were being oppressed over in Europe, right? We come
Correct.
here, we want our
Right.
freedom. We're going against the king. We slaughter the Native Americans, right?
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
And pretty much
You know,
got rid of, they're still here, but they're on reservations and stuff, which is pretty bad.
Exactly,
And I'm gonna-
exactly, and that's why. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
I was
We
gonna say,
can
I'm gonna
take it
say
here.
one thing, and I tweeted this out earlier, and I really don't care who likes it or who doesn't. I'll be honest. You know, primarily I am a Republican, and you know that's just the
That
way.
doesn't make you.
I just no, it's just the way I just want to explain that before I say this.
Absolutely
I gotta-
not.
hold on, guys.
Absolutely not.
So where I'm going with this is everything that I viewed
Yes.
with Barack Obama,
I don't have an issue.
Bill Clinton, even Donald Trump. They thrive on chaos.
I don't know. Or yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
I think it was yesterday.
And
I don't even remember.
basically, to me, Obama's done nothing
I know, that's why I just wanted to make
but
sure
watch
that I get it.
everything happen in Missouri, watch everything happen, you know,
I just
recently
wanted to
over the past
I know the
few
window's
days,
almost gone.
and really hasn't done anything.
Okay. All right.
You
Thank
know,
you.
Bill Clinton thrived on, you know, basically trying to get the black community, so to speak. And all he did was fuel chaos of, you know, it was real big on black crime.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, basically fueling controversy. And all it is chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, until we wake up, and like Hugh said yesterday, he brought up the best point I thought of the entire show.
Yes.
And when
Yeah,
he
shout
said
out to
we
Hugh,
need to
man.
vote locally, that's where it begins.
Oh yeah.
Because we can set the standards of corrupt police chiefs, which I think that police chief that with the Alton Sterling case, I think he's as corrupt as hell. I see it all over him. And
Pete, real quick, Pete, can I say something that came out today?
yeah, go ahead.
Those two officers, it came out today, they've been investigated by Internal Affairs 5 times each.
Correct. I saw that.
They were still, these motherfuckers were still on the street 5
Right.
times.
And the
How
bad
many
thing-
chances do you get?
This is Baton Rouge, right?
And the thing, yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's already shaky right there, dude.
That frustrates
Absolutely.
me. And I'm going to say this. You know, my brother, you know, he passed away at 33, so it's 11 years ago. He was a cop, and I brought this up yesterday. He basically, when he passed, so many people came, you know, and to the, you know, to the funeral, and just, you know, whether all kind of nationalities, shop owners, everything, and just said they never have seen anybody in a law enforcement position do what my brother did, being able to talk people into handcuffs with words, and then those people that were in handcuffs, even 2 separate cases, there were newspaper articles that when that one of them got out of jail for it was petty crime or something, my brother talked him into handcuffs. Basically, came and thanked my brother for, you know, the way that he handled that situation. That he said he knew he fucked up, but because my brother made it, you know, such an easy situation, he relented and you know, put the handcuffs on. And another one of them said they can respect him as a man, number one, and it gave them a different view on the police because my brother was able to talk him down, and the man was wielding a gun in public because he was intoxicated.
Yeah.
And My brother didn't have to sit there and pull a gun. He never drew his gun on him, anything.
Exactly.
He was basically like a hostage negotiator and walked up, and talked his way.
And that's brave.
Let me throw
because,
this
I mean,
out
honestly,
there.
most people would pull their gun on that situation.
Let me throw this out there, and everybody probably saw. I don't know if it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was in the South, but there was this African American lady, and she was working.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where she was working at. There was a white dude who went in, and you know what I'm talking about. She talked this motherfucker down with words.
Yep.
We don't see that in the media. Everything is we got to black.
And the country's so desensitized nowadays. Everything is
exactly
black and white.
Terrible.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Like, and I'm not gonna toot my own horn or anything. I'm not somebody. I don't draw attention myself. I'll draw attention to somebody else 1,000 times before I draw it to me. But I will say, I was never really close to my father who passed away, but my mom raised and instilled values in me that, my mom grew up in an era where, like, yes, black and white tension, but I didn't grow up that way. She's like, hey, if you want to be friends with these people, black, white, whatever, go for it, but I'm not going to have you hang out with assholes, black, white, foreign, whatever it is. And for me, I got along with everybody, whether it was, I went to a very diverse, middle school, and then I went to a predominantly African-American high school. So for me, I was already, more in the minority, but I never looked at it as, oh, I'm scared to be here. I looked at it as, hell, I can play basketball if that's the way I fit in.
You and I basically came from the same environment. I went, I'll say it now, I went to the same high school as Rashard Lewis.
Right.
Very predominantly African-American, Hispanic. I fit in just perfect. They accepted me for who I was, just like they accepted you for who you were.
Right.
It didn't matter whether you were. It didn't matter whether you were. It didn't matter whether you were conservative. Exactly.
No,
they didn't care whether you were conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. It didn't matter.
Like I brought.
It did not matter.
A dynamic to the situation of I was just me. I was cool with you no matter what. If I didn't like you, I'm gonna tell you I don't like you, black, white, whatever.
Exactly. But you know what though? This is what sports do. Think about it. You and I come from the same. I don't want to speak for Lance because I don't know Lance. When he was in high school, I don't know what you. So don't take offense, Lance. But Pete and I come from a very similar background. I was the only white dude. Hell, you can see it on Facebook. You go and follow me on Facebook. Go to my media, scroll down. You'll see my high school varsity picture. I'm the only white dude.
You are truly a ghost in that picture.
Yeah.
That's why. And that's why on the Sim Hangout, everybody called me Space Ghost. Czar laughed at me. Now and when I posted the picture, he's like, "I see you, Space Ghost."
Yeah.
That's why. Nobody cared. It didn't matter. I mean, hell, I invited one of my teammates to my house, and I'll be the first to. I didn't live in the area that I went to high school in.
Neither did
my parents worked in the district. Yeah, my parents worked. They were actually teachers in the district. They call where I went to high school, and I could have went to basically an all-white school. But I said, what? I want to play basketball. I want to play on the best team I can. I'm going to Alief Elsick High School. For all of y'all from Houston, SWAT for life, baby. But that's where I went, Southwest Houston. That's where I grew up in, and that's, and everybody there was no black, white. We all accepted each other,
Right.
And all this racial tension. We need to, and I think, and maybe this is crazy for me to say, but I think Pete will agree, Lance will agree. We as white guys, we have to come out and we have to call people out when they're wrong.
Right.
We have to wake people up.
I'm a Republican, and I can't stand it.
Go ahead.
It basically makes me cringe that Donald Trump is a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Now, I hate Hillary Clinton, too, so,
me too.
And I cannot stand the comment, the lesser of two evils.
Terrible.
My morals will not let me vote.
We have to be in this situation.
No, my morals will not let me vote for either one.
Let me ask you.
People would educate themselves, first and foremost. Instead of, the Kardashians, or whatever social popular thing that they want to look at. Instead of that, or you get drunk every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night in college. why don't you take 5 minutes to say, wow, these are the presidential electees. Let me go out and vote.
Yeah.
You know, and get an informative answer, not just
Trump has his own money, so.
And still, Trump's an asshole. He's a racist asshole.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton's a crook. So we're
She's a
losing
liar, man. Oh my goodness.
And
but here's the thing.
so, but
I would go out on a limb here. The three of us, we all get along. We're good buddies. We can all disagree. I'm
Right.
probably more liberal than the both of y'all. You know, people would probably consider me a liberal guy. I don't,
Okay.
you know, I don't get it because I'm not voting this election because
I'm
I
not
think
either.
it's bullshit. Like you mentioned, thank you, Lance. Pete mentioned a very good point. The lesser of two evils. From the words of Jesse Ventura. Everybody looks at Jesse Ventura as this crazy crook. He's an idiot. He's a WWE wrestler. He made this very good point, and this is why I'm a big fan of Jesse. I don't give a damn if he's an atheist. So what?
yeah,
He said, you got two choice. What kind of choice is it? You're voting for Hillary, Trump, the lesser of two evils. What choice is that? You're still voting for evil, right?
Yeah,
Right.
No, man.
We need to vote people, and this is why, you know, call me crazy. You guys both will probably disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. We don't have to get to a big fight. It's all good.
right.
This is why I believe Bernie Sanders he drew some very good points, and I'm very disappointed that people were going after Bernie.
I'll say
Especially
this
the
about
Black
Bernie.
Lives. Bernie was always stood for what he believed.
Right.
This is a man, as a white man,
A
back in
humble
the
man.
civil rights era, he stood for civil rights.
Right.
And these people are still going after him as he's the bad guy and they're supporting. I don't understand.
I
that.
just think he's like when you're trying to be a school president, you say all these things and most of them aren't going to happen. That's how I feel about him.
Yeah.
I think he's in the heart's in the right place. I just don't.
Let me
I
ask
just
you
didn't
this,
think a
Lance.
lot of that was
He
going to pan
believes-
out.
He believes though everything he says. He's
And
not
I don't
just
know about
pandering.
socialism either, man. I don't know if I can be a socialist like that.
I think that's I'll say this. I don't think it would have been a true socialist because I think even now, you guys will both agree. We watch what happens. What's the biggest form of socialism we have in this country? You're going to say welfare. You may say this. Corporate socialism is the biggest thing of welfare we see in this country.
Right.
Think about it. Like, that's why I was with the whole, Occupy Wall Street movement. Yeah, some of those guys are out there for media. They were out there for likes and Twitter retweets and shit like that. They had the real warriors were there though. They understood what was going on. We as a society, I mean, think about it. Just go. Let's take the Iraq War for a second. We get bombed on 9/11. We're all pissed off. I joined the military. All this stuff, right? What's the first thing we do? We blame Saddam Hussein. We go to war with Iraq, and even Trump has said this. God damn, this is the one thing I agree with Trump. God forbid I agree with Trump. He knew it was going to be a quagmire, a big fuck up. We desegregate that entire region. We create this vacuum, and I think like some other. I'm not going to name names, but there are many who say, President Obama's he's kind of a puppet. I agree. I don't think President Obama is. I don't think he's a bad man, but I think he is kind of a puppet. He's just the status quo, if you will. And so we go to Iraq. We destabilize the entire region. President Obama, of course, he gets blamed for the whole thing. Hey, and I think to an extent, because of what we're seeing now, okay, I understand. I get what people are saying, but let's stop going to these other countries and fucking telling them how they need to live. Think about this. Russia went in there. Why did the USSR get bankrupt? Because they went into the Middle East. Do you see terrorist attacks in Russia?
Well, what's wrong with democracy?
When was the last terrorist? I see where you're going.
I'm not saying
our job.
I know we were kind of bullies. We're looked at as bullies, but what's wrong with showing them democracy?
I don't think anything is wrong with it, but I don't think it's our job to tell them how to live.
Yeah, you're right.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Think about it this way, though, and this is where we can all come together, and I think everybody will agree. When was the last time Russia was hit by ISIS? Tell me.
Dude,
Never.
Well, that dude is.
They don't get
that dude is crazy. Putin.
No. I'm not talking about Putin. I'm not talking about Putin. I'll get to Putin. I'm not talking. But when was the last time? When was the last time ISIS or Al Qaeda or anybody hit Russia with a terrorist attack? Think about it. Just think about it. Never. It does not happen. You know why? Russia went into the Middle East. They bankrupt. The USSR went bankrupt because of that. They pulled the fuck out and never went back. That's why they're not getting attacked, because they're not meddling into that business.
Well, they're probably not welcoming either. We're pretty welcoming.
I would say this though. Let these people in the Middle East, let them have their civil war. We do not need to be there. If we leave, I firmly believe, if we leave them alone, we would not be in this mess up that it's too late now. And I will say this now, if the government wants to censor me, go ahead, fucking censor me, come here, shoot me in the fucking head. I don't give a shit. I went to boot camp. 2005, April 19, 2005, I go to boot camp. My recruit division commander, which is basically a drill instructor. In the Navy, we call them RDCs. They told us to our faces, we will be in Iraq for at least 20 years. We will be in the Middle East for 20 years. They did not tell the American people this. Then you have President Bush. Most people hate him. I'm not a fan of his. I was not a fan of Clinton. I'll be the first to admit I don't like American presidents. I didn't like, I was young when Reagan is, but I don't think Reagan did anything either. Presidents are just talking heads. They said this to us. 20 years at least. We're still there. Nothing has really been accomplished when you think about it. Look at Orlando. Whether you're for the homosexual lifestyle or not, I don't care. Let these people feel the way they do. Let them live their life. That's how they feel.
Right.
But that's deemed as a terrorist attack, right?
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. That was. Let them do what they do. These people got slaughtered in that club in Orlando.
That is despicable, man.
That was despicable. It was absolutely terrible. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad thing, and we're sending this message, and it just comes and it makes America look really bad.
And
this guy was not a part of ISIS. He claims ISIS. He's a fucking idiot. That dude was not part of ISIS. He was a lone wolf who used ISIS as an example.
What do you call it? An enthusiast, or what's it called, man?
I think he was a sympathizer. He was.
Yeah, there we go. That's the word.
Yeah,
he's not affiliated. But he feels feels for them.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. If we stay out of that shit, we won't have these fucking. This dude was an American citizen who blasted all those people, innocent people. Whether you agree with their lifestyle or not, so what? Innocent people got slaughtered. All they want to do was go drink, have a good time, dance, do what they do. Exactly. And they got slaughtered. For no reason.
What bothers me the most
Go ahead, Pete.
about all of this, whether you're black, white, whatever nationality you are, everybody, first thing that, basically it's, no offense to, anybody, but it's always, Black Lives Matter versus, white people don't care about this. It has nothing to do with that. Every life matters. You shouldn't.
Yeah, I just don't.
I just don't think that you need to look at it in a black or white perspective. It needs to be looked at in an individual. Yes, these cops are white, and what they did is wrong, and I think they should be executed for it. But at the end of
prison, shit, they don't even get put in prison.
At the end of the day, it comes down to, as a country, instead of turning on each other, we need to come together, black and white.
Pete, that's a good point, Pete. And that's what I think that's where our importance comes in as white Americans.
Right.
We have to stand with our African American brothers and sisters.
That's the frustrating part.
We do though. And see, we do, but some people, I understand they're really frustrated, but they will almost alienate the white people that are there for them because they're so angry. And I told a friend of mine yesterday, I have a black friend, it's a black friend of mine. He had something out there, and it was to the point of white people, you put us here, this and that. And I'm just like I understand your frustrations, man, and I'm not going to tell you not to be mad because, shit, who am I to tell you not to be mad?
You can't.
It's just poisonous.
We cannot. Yeah, we can't imagine what it's like to be in their shoes.
But at the same time, it's like
There's nothing we can say.
Don't alienate like the white people that are on your side. That's where I'm coming in. Like, cause I'm on Twitter and man, I haven't really responded to most of it, but there has been some really like whoa, that's offensive to me. I mean, you probably don't care, but
I want to say this to you guys who don't, I'm into a lot of political shit. I'm a lot like Q, where I'm into political shit. I have been. I'll say this. I woke up probably in 2010 to all the crap that's going on. Republicans, Democrat, conservative. It's all bullshit. It's labels.
Right.
Go on. I recommend everybody who's listening, go on to Breitbart.com. It is a far right, I don't want to say conservative because I think there are very good conservatives out there. I think it's wrong that we label people, so I don't want to say that. A far-right website. Go on, look at Alton Sterling, look at Mr. Castile. Look at the post on there. Look at the comments section. And that will tell you how people feel, and that really pisses me off. I saw a post for 500 years. Essentially they were saying African Americans, because they're animals, they don't want to adjust. Like, get the fuck out of here. That is bullshit. Yeah. Stop referring to these human beings as animals. Are you fucking serious? Obviously, yeah, technically we're all animals. We're mammals. But that's, sarcastically. But still, stop doing that. It does not help the situation at all. It's terrible. Right. It saddens me. I have an account on Discets. It does a lot of forums, different websites, and I'm looking at these comments, and I'm like, God damn, I can't even comment to these people because it's not going to matter.
Correct.
They have their mind made up. Hell, I told you, you saw it yesterday when we talked, Pete. I'm in there, and there's people applauding. These cops in Baton Rouge deserve medals. Right. Are you fucking serious? We all saw the video, and that dumbass bitch on TV, I don't know what her name is, and I will say it. Dumbass bitch. Women are beautiful people. I don't mean it in an offensive way, but this dumbass bitch, I can't remember her name right now because I don't pay attention to her. I see all these talking.
Is this a chick that played on Clueless for Fox?
No, not Stacey Dash. Not Stacey Dash.
All right.
It was some lady. This dumbass broad is out there making these comments, making excuses for the police, talking about police records and shit. Who gives a goddamn?
No, but you don't execute a man like that. Yeah, I heard he was selling CDs or some shit.
Yes, that's not why he died, though. That's look. I think those cops came into that. He's black. He's a criminal. The caller said, which was a homeless man, came out. He was a homeless man. Said he pointed a gun. Those cops, who have been investigated not only once but 5 times by internal affairs, came into that situation. This guy's black. We know he has a gun. We're gonna kill this motherfucker. I think
they held him down. He's defenseless at this point.
And I'm gonna say this. Go and Pete, Lance, do you follow my guy Byron on Twitter @RadRim? Follow him. He has the video. And there's another one I'll tell you.
I honestly can't watch
the video. You saw the video. This white guy is fighting these cops. He's punching them. He's hitting them. Not once do they draw their firearm. Right. Another one. This white guy's like a goddamn, like he's just some crazy man.
I believe you, dude.
And they're not drawing their gun. It's bullshit.
The guy that killed all those people in the movie theaters, the Batman movie?
Yes.
He made it out just fine. The dude that was, I think he was like a abortion clinic and shit, shooting people, he made it out just fine. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. That's why I tell my black friends, I'm like, dude, I see it. Like, I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. We all see it. Like, white privilege is real. Like, I used to not think it was, but I come across it. I mean, when I used to dress differently and hang out with different kinds of people, like, I would be treated different. But now, the way I am, they just look at me and go the other way. I don't really do anything. But if I'm someone else of color out at night, they probably might do something.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because I will say this, and I know, and I think sometimes, and Pete made a good point yesterday. He was upset with the person in the chat room, and I wanted to jump in, and I'm not going to defend him, Pete, but I think sometimes we read posts and we jump in, and it makes us mad.
Especially on Facebook.
This, because you're white, they're this. Yeah,
Twitter.
because you're white, you're racist, you're this, and I completely am with you with that, Pete. I understand, but I think sometimes when they talk white privilege, it's not necessarily white people are this, they're going to do that. I think what I think he was referring to, and I hope he was referring to, me, you, and Pete, or me, you, and Lance, we're out, right? We get pulled over by the cops for a tail light, or we got Lance knows in Texas, you got a sticker on your car that's expired. We're probably going to walk away. We're not going to get shot. If Byron or Mike or Marcus or anybody else or Big Stowe or Q gets out, I mean, you heard Q's example when he's just in middle school.
Right.
It's a different story. And I think that may be what our guy, I think it was Jason Fonseca.
Yeah.
You know, I think that might have been what he was going to. And I know you're emotional, Pete. And that's fine, and I'm with you with that. I don't want to get it to a point where, oh man.
No. I'm not gonna sit there. I'm somebody. I'm gonna tell you.
I get what you're talking. I see where you're coming from, though. I understand.
I'm somebody that I can view something and I say, okay, you have your point of view. I'm not gonna sit there and hold a grudge against the guy. I just want him to to know.
Yeah.
Not every white person is privileged, or
exactly.
every white person thinks the same.
Exactly.
Just like every black person doesn't think the same.
See, I think I agree, but I think what he was getting at, and I hope this is what he was getting at. I hope. I don't know because I don't know him. I think what his point was, I think he was referring to police when he made the comment that you were still breathing. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into this, but Q just came with Q was beautiful yesterday for everybody. If you haven't seen it, go to Pete Toll's YouTube page, man. Look at our post about Alton Sterling yesterday, and you're going to love our guy Q. He really broke it down well. Some of you will disagree with some of the stuff he said. I'm with him on almost everything, but I'm kind of a radical. I'll say it. I
follow him on Twitter, so I'm half and half with him.
Yeah. I'm with him. I'm probably 90%, and I'll say that you guys can disagree. It's not going to make me think any less of any of you.
I mean, I don't agree with the if the only one comment. I agree with everything except one comment. It's that basically saying that, well, if the way of going about it, basically a slow approach, then you ramp it up and basically the violence, because I don't think that solves anything. But he's so intelligent for being 19 years old. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't come across anyone in my life that's 19 that's as well educated and knows what he's
He's only 19, huh?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Pete. He probably educated you on some stuff yesterday, as he did me.
Yeah, he did.
Stuff that I didn't know about. Yeah.
Right.
And that's beautiful. And see, that's the beauty of Q. He does such a great job. But I think when he mentions the violence.
Another one that's like that, and I have to give a shout out to, is Books. Nelson Blake.
Yeah. Yes.
He can.
Yes.
He can.
I feel smarter every time I listen to him.
Yeah. He breaks things down.
Beautiful.
In a way that you can understand, and it's knowledge, and you just sit there and you just have to be in amazement. And Q does that. Q, I hope you watch it or you check it out in the replay, man, because you have a bright future ahead of you, man.
Hey, what we got to do, man. Even if Czar doesn't bring us on, hey, man, we got to get Czar to bring Q on his hangout.
I want to find a way to get Books.
Yeah, we got to get Czar and Books.
Oh, where's our stepchildren of the Hoops hangout?
I'm going to talk to Czar. We got to get Q on the hangout. He's got to bring Q on.
Yeah.
But I see where Q, and some of the stuff that he was. I understand. I'm not one for violence.
Right.
I'm a very peaceful person. But I understand what Q was saying. If you look at the history of this country, we as white people, how did we get what our freedoms, what we essentially wanted? We did it through violence. Essentially, think about it.
Right.
We did it through violence, and I think that's where he's going. And what he's saying is he was mentioning the poem. Was it Langston Hughes? I can't remember. Essentially, the Negro will be, the peaceful. They will be humble. They will pray, but eventually that will stop. Right. And it's coming to a boiling point, and I understand it. Growing up, I'm going to tell you guys some things off air that I witnessed. I cannot say it on here due to what I do. And if anybody sees it, I would probably be fired.
Right.
But Yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Hey,
but I understand where Q's coming from. I'm with him.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll say this, and this may offend a lot of people. A war, if this continues, a war is coming into this country.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to take sides. And I'm going to say this to everybody watching. Just be careful of what side. Remember what side you're taking. Be knowledgeable in what side.
Educate yourself.
I already know what side. Yes, I know where I know where I stand right now. I said this 6 years ago with my buddy Sid. I know where I stand. Call me a radical, call me a militant. I don't give a damn. The government doesn't see me as a threat. I would love for a guy like Q to run for local office at least, but he would be a threat.
I'll say this, dude.
And that's sad.
So I'm white, right? Freaking white as hell, Mayo color. But I read, I didn't read the whole thing, but I read a good amount of the autobiography of Malcolm X. And this may be weird, but I mean, at the time, like, if I was around, I'd be like, well, I can't really blame him for having these thoughts.
Right.
I mean, it's like people get mad at him. Oh, well, he's not like Martin Luther. Well, not everyone wants to get slapped in the face and keep letting people slap him in the face, right? Like, some people are going to eventually fight back. Like, I appreciate both of their approaches because it showed you can do it with both. You can do it with violence, but you can also do it with peace. But, I mean, like, people want to down Malcolm X. Oh, he's this, you know, freaking, almost not repulsive, but he just so diabolical with the way that he thought of white people. I don't think he thought of all white people, just the white people that were messing with his race and his freedom of speech, his freedom of religion. Like, I'm a Christian, but I don't consider myself like an extremist. I don't go out of my way to tell people I'm Christian. And I hang out with people that are atheists all the time, like, and they talk shit about Christianity, and I'm like, hey, dude, just respect me and what I think of, because I don't talk down about you for being an atheist or agnostic or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just see that violence does get things taken care of, but I just really wish it wouldn't have to come down to that. But I can see a Malcolm X type of point of view and a Martin Luther King point of view. So I do entertain both sides, but just in this present time, and I would hate to have another civil war. I thought we'd be above it by now. But it's scary.
It is, man, and we're gonna. You see this boiling point coming.
Mm.
You know, it is here. It's in front of us, man. And you know, Pete probably, you know, I don't know your background, Lance. I don't know how you know, the high school you went, all that stuff. I don't know
most
that.
Hispanic people for the most of my life, because I'm in Dallas, but I'm not like Gates of Golden Gates.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, man. The Hispanic, they better watch out too, because they're next. Q made a very great point yesterday, and Byron and me have talked about this for a while, and I'm gonna shout out Byron on this, and he was telling me back in the day, you know, when the government, they were doing all these things, and I wanted to say this yesterday, but I could not interrupt Q because he was just spitting true knowledge to everybody. But you had poor white people and poor black people coming together because the government was basically fucking them in the asshole. So what does the government do? They divide the poor white people and the poor black people. You got poll taxes and all this bullshit to basically divide everybody. You know, so that they don't come together. So that they don't come together to, you know, basically, I don't want to say dethrone the, because but that's almost what it's gonna take, man. We as young men, and I'm gonna say it. I'm 34. Pete's what, 32, 31. Yeah. 32. You're you know what, Lance? You're 25, 26. We have 24. We as young men, we have to step up. We have to do our part. You know. We have to stand for justice, as Q said yesterday. We have to be on the side of justice.
Yeah.
You know, if that means taking a side that may be unpopular, you got to do it,
guys.
You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was talking to a buddy of mine on Facebook today. He made a post with all this stuff that's been happening, and I've never known him to make political posts like this. And I jumped in and I comment, man, I'm with you. And he agreed, man, because of the color of our skin, this is where we can come in, man. We've got to step up. We have to speak on these injustices. When we see stuff like what happened in Minnesota, which Pete showed the video of what happened in Louisiana, which was disgusting. Pete, you saw it. It was disgusting. Minnesota was just as bad. This man had his 4-year-old daughter in the back of the car. He's reaching for his license and registration, and this police officer blasts him. No remorse. And like you said, Lance, he was nervous when he knew he screwed up. That's a problem.
So guess what, man? There was a march today in Dallas for, I guess, some police officers or something. Source confirms a Dallas police officer and a DART officer, which is pretty much like a transit officer, were shot during march downtown. As we're speaking about this stuff, man, look, it's happening. I mean, someone shot a police officer, man.
Jesus.
And see, this is what I fear. This is what's gonna happen. I'll say it. Hey, you guys don't have to say it. I'll say it. I don't care. If we do not come together and do what's right, if we don't speak out against these injustices, there's going to be blood in the streets. Yep. I'm not calling for it. I don't condone it, but I understand why it will happen.
Right.
As I said before, if you look at the history of this country, especially for us who are privileged as white Americans who came from here, violence is what led to a lot of our freedoms. Mm-hmm. Just think about it. We really have to think about that, man, and we can do our part to stop what's coming. We as it is our job to wake people up, to wake naive people up who want to sweep it under the rug. That's what we have to do.
But you can't.
It doesn't come to the worst case scenario.
Some people are just delusional, though, man. You can't talk to them.
That's true. That's true. But we have to, if I can talk to one person to see what's going on, I've done my job. I think that sucks that if I can only get to one person, but we have to get to as many people as we can, because nobody wants to see another civil war in this country. And like I said, I talked to my buddy, and this was in 2010. A civil war is coming in this country again if we do not change course.
For it, man. If there was, I would go to Canada.
Exactly.
Honestly,
and
I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't fight in this because I cannot fight someone. Like, I just don't believe in. Like, I understand war in general, like with other countries, but man, we should be one with ourselves. Like, we should never have to fight to the bloody death our own countrymen. It's just crazy to me. Like, I just think I didn't think we would have to have another civil war. I mean, but it looks like it. As sad as this is, it kind of has to happen. As sad as it is. Because we have become, and I mentioned it, and Pete knows. Pete saw me mention this yesterday, and I always preface this: whether you like President Obama or you hate him. Let's not get into that because that's stupid. Ever since he was elected, the civil rights movement happened. Good things things were starting to change. We thought we were getting better. President Obama the racist people went in the closet. They went into hiding. President Obama gets elected. You love him or you hate him. The minute this man gets elected, I'm on my Facebook, and you got people talking about the death of our country. Wear black to school the next day because it's the death of our country. That's terrible. Whether you love this man or hate him, whether you think he's a good president or a bad president, we don't have to get into that. That's besides the point. Mm-hmm. But it's the attitudes of and I'll say this, white America. We were blasting this man, and so now that paves the way for idiots like Donald Trump to come in and say and basically blame every problem in America on the Hispanics, on the Muslims, on the African Americans, on any person of color, and he's emboldening these racists, these bigots, these idiots, And I know both of you guys, you're not these people, I'm not these people, but we have to speak out against it. And thank you, Pete, for saying that Donald Trump is an asshole.
We don't want him being president of the United States.
Republicans don't even like him. The Republicans don't even like him.
I'm Republican and I can't stand him. So
yeah, the Republican Party did whatever it took, but they couldn't get him out.
Yeah, but here's the sad thing, though, Pete, and I'm glad you don't like him. You know, Lance doesn't like him, but here's the sad thing. Who won the primaries? Who did the American people want as their Republican nominee?
Well, there was no other strong people. Rubio was supposed to be that guy, or Cruz, but Cruz
that's all fine and dandy. Ted Cruz is an idiot. I
thought Rubio was going to do something, but Rubio got.
Yeah, but let's be honest, though.
Embarrassed.
But let's be honest. We can't. Anybody who puts their faith in a politician is an idiot. I'm going to say that. But think about it this way. Who won the Republican primary? Who did a majority of Republican voters want as president of the United States? Donald Trump.
Right.
That's all I got to say. That shows where we are as a country.
Yeah,
but at the same time, though, I'll have to defend. I mean, in my opinion, Ben Carson dropped out.
Yeah, my grandparents liked him.
I'm sorry, I don't like Ted Cruz. There would have been no way.
He was crooked.
Pete, let me ask you this, and anybody who blasts you for your opinion, they should not do this. You know, everybody has their opinion. You know, because there are actually a couple Republicans I'd say, hey, they're decent guys. Who did you like in this race? Don't be. I'll say who I didn't have a problem with. I'll say, even though I think they're all idiots, but
I mean, Huckabee was okay.
The only gentleman I really got behind was the guy. Who was the gentleman from Ohio? The governor.
Kasich or Casey?
Yeah, that's Kasich. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I really could do.
See,
I was in the past, man.
I would have picked Rubio over Donald Trump myself if I had to narrow it down to Rubio, Cruz, and Trump. As it did, I would have, basically it would have been, Rubio. But at the end of the day, what does government want the most? Q brought it up. They want the chaos there because you're hiding behind. They're hiding all these issues behind Hillary Clinton and her, dishonesty. Which I'm sorry, I'm in probably being a Republican. I don't just say, oh, I hate Hillary Clinton because she's a Democrat. I mean, if I think basically being a Republican, if I think a Democrat's a good choice, I'm going to say, well, these things are good. These things I don't like.
The way you
but
should be.
I think that Hillary Clinton there's nothing good about her, and I'm sorry, that's just my belief. I think overall she's a nasty person, and I think that in life she's gonna get paid.
You know what's crazy? Yeah, you know what's crazy is everybody wants to compare her and her husband. They're actually very different candidates. They're not exactly the same.
Right.
When you really think about it. And that's the crazy thing. Like, I'm not a fan of President Clinton, because I listen to conspiracies, I listen to all that stuff. I don't believe all of them. I believe in the Kennedy conspiracy. I think that's bullshit, the story we've been told. 9/11, I'm not so sure where I fall. I don't think the government necessarily had all those people slaughtered. But if you look, there was a Republican and a Democrat. I don't know if it's the House or the Senate. There's 27 pages of the 9/11 report that are classified. And the reason they're classified is because they're a threat because of national security.
Yeah, but he screwed it up to begin with.
But here's the thing. The Republican and the Democrat who were trying to get these pages unclassified said it has nothing to do with national security. If you read these reports, you'll be shocked. It will make Bill Clinton look bad, and it will make George Bush look bad, both of them.
I mean, the main thing is like Bill Clinton, he was all about free trade, things like that, and basically, Hillary's, kind of the opposite. So that's, one thing. Basically, to me, I wasn't a big Bill Clinton fan either, but at the end of the day, it's going to end up being Hillary Clinton that gets voted in. Overall, it's going to matter who's in, the Senate, who is our local government, because I live in a small town outside of Atlanta. Obviously, Atlanta's the major city, in Georgia that everybody knows. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that's kind of like a power pool, and I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like, my son that, is basically on the way is going to be in a good environment, and I'm scared because as a father, I want to protect him and want to protect my wife and want to be able to instill educational knowledge in him and want him to be exactly like me to where he can get along with all races and views things in the way that I view them, that you can look at each, side of something and make your own opinion, and it doesn't have to be the popular choice. But I'm scared that the way society's going, it's almost like, I'll use the example. It's a show on the USA Network, Mr. Robot, and it's one of the most popular shows that shows how basically corporate America is in the sense that they have everybody basically brainwashed with things, and I don't want my son to be brainwashed in the sense that he can't make his own decisions, own choices, and I don't want him to feel like he's in the middle of a race. Right, and I don't want him to feel like he's in a race war before he's even born. And I don't, I'll be honest, I'm not planning to, basically say, okay, I'm going to sit there and hop on Twitter and comment all these different things or my Facebook. I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and stay silent about it either. So that's the point of having the show we had last night and talking now. We have the choice of we can do whatever the hell we want on these shows. I don't care if we get one viewer or we get 20,000 viewers. I'm going to speak my opinion and I'm going to bring up situations and subjects that matter because I think that
it's your platform.
Dude, they're still shooting, man. There's about 3 to 6 cops down now at this.
Oh yeah, I was reading it while you were talking, Matt, and then I'm also reading because here in Atlanta they shut down one of the major highways. Because basically people are protesting, about everything that's happened. So for me, the answer is not sit there and go back against the police if you're black or whatever, because I don't believe in killing anybody. I believe, I have a huge heart. I'll do anything for pretty much anybody, that I can, and especially the less privileged.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the way to go about it is not to sit there and act violently. It's educate yourself on what candidates are in the next elections. Make a strong choice based on what you believe, not what's in the news, not what your friend tells you, not what your family's telling you. You make a choice for you. And at the end of the day, that's the difference you can make by having a voice. These people that don't believe, Matt, no offense to you, but you're like, I'm not going to vote.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead, man. I'm not going to take offense.
I don't think that's the answer either. I hate both candidates, and at the end of the day, if my my mom and my stepdad don't like it, if it ends up being Hillary Clinton that comes out with better options, then I'm going to vote for Hillary. If it's and I am Republican, and more so, I probably lean to the Republican side, but I hate Donald Trump that much. So I don't really know where I stand there, but at the same time, I gotta make a decision. You
can always vote. You can always vote for the Libertarian candidate, Mr. Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico. There are other choices. You can do a write-in vote. You can vote for fucking Mickey Mouse.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like at least go and show up and do something. Because sitting at home is not going to resolve anything. It's not going to make the country change. And the sad part is us being white, and the ones that don't want to start violence and do anything, we still get lumped into the ones that do. And same for black people. The ones that are ghetto and hurt people and sell drugs and do all this stuff get the same rap the ones that are educated and do everything for the community. And it's like, I'll use it's probably not a great example to use, but Bill Cosby. Everybody talked about he was the
hurt me the most, man.
Basically the Cosby Show, the Huxtables, all of that stuff, and then it turns out that everything he did to women fall from grace.
Yep.
And that's an example of when society looks at things, you look at one side of a picture rather than both sides of something. And for me, it's like, look at Donald Trump. Look at the past before he even started running for political office, that how he was as a person. And just nothing about him radiates that you care for anybody in America, even white people. It's like you'll throw anybody under the bus for a business deal. And I'm sorry, I can't stand behind that. But I also can't stand behind Hillary Clinton and the corruption that she had.
And she got away with it. She's getting away with it again.
And she's getting away with it again. And I think Bill Clinton was corrupt in a lot of ways and got away with a lot of stuff, not just the Monica Lewinsky that everybody knows about.
Right.
A lot of the
and in all honesty, we were all young when that happened. Let me touch on that, because we were all young when that whole thing. I was a sophomore in high school. Pete, you were what? You're a couple of years younger.
I was probably 7th or 8th grade, something like that.
Bill Clinton should have never. I'm not saying whether he was good, he was bad, he lied. He should have never been impeached for that shit. That was stupid. That was a political move, and I'm not. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not a fan of him. But I think that was a political move, and it was a move designed to divide us, which is what you see a lot. It was nothing but a division move.
Yeah.
That bothers me. Stop making these moves. Yes. Look, did he get his dick sucked by Monica Lewinsky? Yes. So who gives a shit?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? Who cares?
But morally, though, you would like you. I get it.
That's fair. I get where you're coming.
He basically got for the perjury and the obstruction of justice, but at the same time, he still got acquitted by the Senate. So it's kind of like
he was still impeached, though. He was impeached.
Right.
So, hey, they're saying that they're in negotiations with one of the shooters right now.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Basically, I want to wrap it up, guys, because we can talk more off air. But I want to say final statement, and I want you guys just to say something really quick. Final statement. My final statement is go out and educate yourself on your local government. Don't go reading the media and just go off of that. Educate yourself and find your own voice in a nonviolent way. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. I think people need to, as you said, educate, but and not believe the media, because I think the media is just as guilty as these idiots that trying to stir everything. The media is just as culpable. And I'm not just talking about Fox News. I'm talking about MSNBC as well. There is no innocence here. It's not just a right-wing media thing. It's everybody. It's liberal media. It's conservative media. They're all guilty. They're spewing the same trash, just in different ways. They are trying to divide us, as Americans. And we cannot let them do that. We must do what we can and come together and throw. And let me throw this out there. I'm a big movie person, as is Pete. Pete's seen Independence Day, right?
Yep.
The first one, not the new one, which I did enjoy the new Independence Day. It was stupid, but it was good. But do you remember the speech the president gave in that movie about putting our petty differences aside?
Yep.
That's where I'm leading here. Let's put that shit aside. Let's do the right thing. Let's stand with whether they're, it does not matter. Let's stand with our brothers and sisters out there and do the right thing. When we see an injustice like what happened in Minnesota with Mr. Castile and what happened in Louisiana in Baton Rouge, with Mr. Sterling, let's stand together. It shouldn't just be, African Americans out there protesting. We, as young white men, we need to get out there and say, hey, you know what? These police officers screwed up. They fucked up. They need to be punished. They do not need to get off on this. We need to stand with everybody out there and say, you know what? We're with you. That's what I'm going to leave it as. We have to.
The shooter,
because it's bullshit.
The shooter was shooting at the crowd too, so not just at the police.
Wow. It just the country's just.
Oh yeah.
This does not surprise me because of everything that's happened, man. We're like I said, we're going down. We're at a boiling point right now.
Yeah.
And we have to all do the right. We have to do the right thing. We have to stand with, like Q said yesterday. We have to stand with justice. I don't, who cares what your skin tone, what you're Asian, you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic. So who gives a shit? Let's stand with justice. Let's all stand. Let's go against the elite. And Q made a beautiful point yesterday, and I'm glad he said it. And he told me this before he came on. He told me this. I do not hate white people. I don't like the elites, the corrupt white people. And you see it. As you talk, Pete, Mrs. Clinton, president, candidate for president of the United States.
Yeah.
Enough said. Stand with truth. Stand with what's right and what's wrong. Screw the fucking corruption. Do what's right. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Lance, you got anything you want to close out with?
No, man. I'm not in the right mind now, man. We were already talking about this shit, and then this is happening in my hometown. So, I take transit, and I'm around that area a good amount because I live like 5 or 10 minutes away from that area. It's just scary. I'm honestly kind of scared, man.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. We just hope for, a better tomorrow. That's all I can say. Until next time, we'll catch you guys. Thank you for joining in, and see you on the next Hangout.